live. You're live. I was trying to do the, what is it? Is it the St. Edward's chime that? I can't remember.
Hello.
Hello.
You're here.
Yes. I'm opening chats and such.
Very well.
Now would be a good time to insert ads.
Smash that ad button.
Microsoft Edge. Would you like to set Microsoft Edge as your default browser? No! No, I don't.
Why not? Why wouldn't you want Microsoft Edge, your AI-powered browser, to be the default browser?
No more AI.
Microsoft Edge is my default browser.
Okay.
Most are not. To really annoy people, on my MacBook.
Is it actually?
Yes.
Why?
Because all my work stuff's in Edge.
Okay.
So,
I mean,
for all of my work profile.
yeah. I mean, also though, at the end of the day, it's just like, because Edge is just a Chromium-based browser now, it doesn't matter.
Also, Edge doesn't block, you block.
Oh yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, technically Chrome doesn't either. You just enable it again. But yeah. All right. I think we're here. I think we're good to go. All right. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Oh, big stretch.
Obligatory stretch.
Yep. So that's the thing you said about sort of always your leg getting better. Like, this is why I'm not sure, because like certainly at one point trying to do a big stretch back like that hurt a lot, whereas I can do that now. And like getting out of bed in the morning, I can roll out of bed and that doesn't hurt, you know, and stuff like that. So there are certain times where I'm just like, yeah, it's getting better. But then also there's certain times when like I've just finished walking to work and I'm like, ow, 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 ow. So,
Suffering. Pain.
yeah. Dana, Graham, I enjoyed your long form video and your pedago... Caradog, help me.
Pedological.
Pedological.
Is that it?
Pedagogical.
Pedagogical.
Pedagogical. I enjoyed your long form video and your approach. Congratulations on taking 59 minutes to find and replace shorter capacitor. But what would Alex say about your business model? He would say, he would say, look at this. This is Adamant IT. And for a period of time, he was growing. Look, there's big growth here. He was really moving forward. But then look at this. From 150, he's up to 180,000 subscribers now. That's taken him like, what, 4 years? Where's the growth? He's not growing anymore. Okay, you're sneezing. I thought you were stunned by how good my impression of Northridge Fix was.
I don't know. Is the man from Boston? Is he from New York?
I don't know where he's from.
Is he Iranian?
I don't know, but that's what he sounds like.
I see. On that note, I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Better than AI, says Arnold. All right, I think Caradog is going to make it so my forehead isn't exploding anymore. Possibly, I'm not sure. Is that what you're doing? Or are you just adjusting? Oh, he's adjusting frame.
We can go less bright if you want.
No,
but we end up there.
Yeah.
So you have that or that.
I am the pasty boy. This is not a fight that you win, so yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anyway. Hello, Netherbrode Kasserem. We are here. Anyway. Anyway, yes, Dana, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the $10. Yeah. Yeah, this week's video was incredibly well received. I was very, very happy about it. You know.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Which of course is what matters.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I was quite happy with it when I put it out, and like I'm always very wary about releasing hour-long videos just because I think an hour is a big commitment for a video unless you're watching, like when a video
is... What do you mean? Your video is only 15 minutes long?
Sag. I think when you put out an hour-long video, that's not something that someone just sort of sits down to watch as an episode of a TV show anymore. That's now, like I said, long-form content. You're kind of committing to this now, and like I was tempted. I was like, am I going to split this up into a part 1 and a part 2? But like, I really don't like doing videos in parts. But also, like, some of my favorite YouTubers that have inspired me to do training videos per se, they do break up their videos into multiple parts that are like sort of 20 to 30 minutes long, you know. But then on the other hand, they're working on a project where if they didn't break up the video, it would be like 5 hours of content kind of thing. So like they have to break it up into parts. So yeah. But that much being said though, like I finished the video and it was at like 1 hour and 5 minutes, and I was like, no, we're scraping this down to sub 1 hour. I want it to be 50 something minutes.
I think also if you go into the project with the intention of it being multi-part, so there is a beginning, middle, end sort of thing for the project and so on, it's less egregious than just kind of going, oh, we're 7 minutes away from repair. Oh no, we've hit our time limit. Sorry, come back next week.
Yeah, that's it. And like sometimes you end up with a part 1 where nothing actually happens, and then a part 2 where everything happens.
Yeah.
And blah blah blah. But yeah. But yes. At any rate, though, the video was very well received. The comments were stellar, and I was really happy. And yeah, I've been glowing all week from the feedback from that, and I'm like, good, I'm glad about this.
It reinforces the fact that you actually possibly know what you're doing and know what you're on about.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it was another dead capacitor, and like, you know,
but you explained,
yes,
how you knew and how you narrowed it down, and so on.
Yeah, I think going back to basics is good, because I don't think I can escape the fact that most of the board repairs I do are going to be, hey, look at that, it's another dead capacitor. However, if I can keep drilling that home in a repeatable way so people are learning that repair, that's where the value of the video is.
It's a hole.
Yes, sorry, I couldn't help but notice the hole in your shirt. That's why I kept, I was just like, hole.
Molly.
Anyway.
Quite often, guacamole.
Worryingly great impression.
I don't know who this person is, actually, so
I see, comment. Fair enough, yeah.
All I've heard from them is, don't actually send your stuff to get repaired there.
Let's see. Bolt says maybe put chapters in the long. Yeah, I meant to put chapters in this week's video. I just forgot, but I'm probably going to go back and chapterize that, because I am a big believer in chapterizing videos where possible. It's just another thing that has to be done after the upload, and it's also annoying because it's something. Figuring out chapters is super annoying because you can't really do it until the video is done. And when I'm doing QA on a video, I usually put it on while I'm doing something else at like 125% or something like that. Just because I'm scanning through it, I'm just basically just keeping an ear out for black screens or just obvious issues in the edit kind of thing. Whereas when you do, when you want to put in chapters, you actually have to scrub through the video and actually check the timestamps on everything, and it's an annoying thing to have to do, and it bores me. But it's not that difficult. I'm just moaning. So yeah. Anyway. But yes, everyone loved it, so I should do more. So yes. Have I tried the Oblivion remake? No, I don't care, is the short answer. I was never really into Oblivion or Morrowind, so I hear they're very good.
I'll check it out in like 5 years' time, probably, and just be like, oh yes, they didn't butcher this game. Okay.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I played a lot of Skyrim back in the day, and I enjoyed Skyrim. And I'm aware that Oblivion and Morrowind are vastly better than Skyrim. So a modernized version of them should theoretically be a very good thing. But also, like, I haven't played Skyrim in years. You know, it's just not a it's not a genre that I'm particularly interested in at the moment. I'm just not super invested in open world stuff. So yeah. TubeBuddy has a good chaptering tool. Interesting, but like, how so? Like, you can't automate it. You know, there's no way of automatically detecting where the chapters are. You've still got to scrub through the video and find the things. Although I guess I guess a tool where you can just scrub and click a button and it automatically generates the chapter text or something, that makes it slightly easier. But
also, I guess just gives you easily copy paste timestamps and stuff, so you can just have a you go chapter here, chapter there, chapter there, chapter there, and then it gives you just the timestamps.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'm not sure how else you can automate it, to be honest. So yeah.
I guess also it depends on whether, it's kind of chaptering by you having pauses and stuff.
Possibly, yeah. So I was working on an Alienware laptop this afternoon, and dead end. I couldn't find a short. That one's beyond me. It's going to have some kind of bizarre logic issue. Something somewhere is not putting out a P-good signal, and I was just like, no, I can't be bothered with this one. It's a rabbit hole. So yeah.
Start again. What was that? Was that the Dell?
Yeah, the Dell Alienware over there. Yeah, I did start recording a video for it.
Right.
But yeah, I took it apart, got in, and I was just, after about an hour into it, I was like, I'm nowhere with this. I'm actually nowhere. So yeah, that's it. Like, contrary to popular belief, I'm not a god of repair. So yeah. Volt says, I put markers on the timeline before rendering. Yeah, I guess I could do it while I'm editing. That would be a good habit to get into. I think that might be the key, is to put markers in the edit, because then I'm chaptering it out as I go. I think that's probably the way to do it.
There you go. Moeto has 4 hours to fix it whilst I see him tomorrow. That's it.
Unironically,
he has 4 hours.
Yeah. Unironically, if you want a challenge and you want to take it with you,
I'm not fixing it.
No, well, if Moeto wants a challenge, but like, I mean, even if you can't do it same day, like if he wants to take a look, like I would need to, like, I would need a quote and stuff like that. But I'm sure if I said to the customer, I can't do it, but I know a chap who probably can. Do you want me to pass it over to him? Then yeah. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Oh, hi Nightbot. Has Nightbot just randomly come back to life, or did you fiddle with it?
I fiddled with it.
Ah, fair enough. Yeah.
It has been.
Yeah. There's also a mistake. And continue the conversation. Find the merch at.
Oh, that's because it was configured to have line breaks in the message, and in the preview message it had line breaks.
I love it.
Oh
well.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Yeah, I think that's the news. That's the where we're at. So.
Oh yeah. Also, you never gave me a Patreon link.
No. Yeah. However, also, yeah, I suppose, yeah, the Patreon. Yeah, I'll make that link anyway. But I'm kind of comfortable with the Patreon link being just patreon.com/AdamantIT and stuff, because it's still a vanity URL is the important thing.
Yeah.
The reason why the Discord one is an Adamant IT link is just because we don't have a vanity URL for the Discord server, and at some point, and it's going to be terrible when it happens, at some point the invite code is just going to randomly get changed, and it's going to be awful because that invite code is burned into hundreds of videos. And I don't know what I was thinking when I was doing that.
It's okay, you can pay a small Asian man 17 pence.
No, it's burned into the video as end cards. It's not just the it's not just in the description. It's on all the end cards. But then no one reads the end cards, so I guess that doesn't matter. But yeah,
Mr. Adam iPhone.
Host Graham Lord. parentheses, sick of being called Adam. I was going to do that, and I was like, I'd have a different thing in the parentheses each time, but I'm just like, I can't be arsed. I'm not going to come up with a funny thing each time.
That's amazing.
You know?
Well, oh, like the intro to Futurama.
Yeah, exactly. You know, just each time, host Graham Lord, parentheses, insert joke here kind of thing. But whatever, yeah. Use Gemini AI to create Python code to convert Amazon links to affiliate links in Discord. Yeah, we've already got one for that. We have a Teltac.
Yeah.
But yeah.
My method of getting a lot of stuff done is to annoy him to the point he just goes, fine!
Yeah.
And magically it's resolved.
Yeah.
It's an excellent method of management.
Yeah. Okay, right. Today, what are we doing today? We've got some secondhand stuff that we're sort of testing / assembling. I've got that secondhand PC that I was going to put together, actually I think it was in the previous stream because that was 2 weeks ago, and it turned out that motherboard was still dead. I have a replacement motherboard now, so we can have a second attempt at building up that PC.
Yes.
And this is the point where I discovered that something else doesn't work, and I'll be angry again. However, theoretically, everything there should work.
AM4.
Yeah, I'm begging you, AM4. I'm like, in trying to sell off the last of my AM4 stuff, somehow I keep buying more stuff in order to sell off the AM4 stuff.
It's okay. What you do is you list each individual part on Facebook Marketplace.
Bitch, I can't be asked. Sorry, I've got drugs. Put that
It's
in.
fine.
I'll put that in a pocket that I'm not stimming against.
It was more the fact I couldn't work out if it was a packet or your joints. I was like,
subtle crinkling coming from my knees, you know.
I was like, oh, I understand why you have leg pain now.
Yeah.
My knees are actually made out of plastic.
Yeah. Oh, the X570 board that we revived now got a 5700 X3D in it and a 6700 XT. Nice. Awesome.
Did it.
Very good. Yeah, it was a good result on that one. I kind of like story repairs like that, where there's a story to it. That's that's something that I like doing in videos, where even if it's a simple repair, you can frame it as there's a story around this. This is my friend's XYZ. You know, the repair is not particularly unique, but there's a relatable story in something came in for repair, it went back, and hey, look, now it's on that other channel, and they're like, hey, I sent it to these guys, they fixed it, now we're going to build it into a computer. The legend lives on, kind of thing. Which is kind of why I'm interested in getting this PS4 video done that I'm working on.
Yes.
I pull a PS4 that's been sitting in my storeroom for years, since I think it's from 2017. And it's been sitting broken in my storeroom since 2017, and I fixed it this week. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the video for that, because again, it's just a cool story, you know. So yes. Anyway, so yeah, I've got stuff to build. You've got, you're doing something. What are you doing?
Hopefully building putting a motherboard, RAM. I left a cooler at home. Never mind. And a coolerless CPU into one of these Antec AX20s.
Actually, I don't think I've got a cooler for that one either now I think about it. We've probably got an air cooler kicking around here, and we can just put it in both as a placeholder just to start them up and be like, look, it works.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's basically, I just need to confirm that the hardware functions as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I'm just...
I feel like we're a reality TV show on Channel 5 where the host is coming over and it's like, Caradog, what have you got for us this week? And they're like, well, Jim, I've got this motherboard that I bought for a song, you know, and blah, blah, blah.
Funny you should say that. I bought the motherboard, the CPU, and the RAM for less than £150.
Damn, yeah. Pretty good.
So, yes. And it looks like finally the 4th gen Intel motherboard and CPU combos that get sold on eBay a lot of less than £100 now. And I'm just like, finally, because that platform is not overly valid.
Yeah. And, you know, again, just AM4, 100% still a good platform and stuff. However, just It's overpriced now, though, is the annoying thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the frustration. When we're complaining about the cost of AM4 stuff and selling it off and things like that, it's not because it's bad. It's just because it was like, again, the stream 2 weeks ago when I was trying to buy another AM4 board and I couldn't find a B450 board for less than 50 quid. I'm like, are you kidding? You know, when AM4 was current, like a Gigabyte B450 DS3H, at one point, those things were like £50 brand new, and you're telling me I can't find a second-hand one for less than £50?
Yeah.
What the hell? Why? You know, that's the source of the frustration. It's not because it's a crap platform. It's still relevant. It's just like, however, it's also a dead end, so it shouldn't be holding its value because you can buy an AM5 motherboard for 140 quid and an AM5 CPU for like £120 probably.
Yeah.
So just like, there's no reason for AM4 stuff to be holding its value because AM5 is not expensive, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's the thing that's completely killing most of the Intel stuff is the fact that they're still trying to charge £500 or £600 for a CPU. And it's like, or I could buy the AMD CPU. It's £400 cheaper. And the same speed.
Intel is too proud to be cheaper than AMD, it feels like.
Or to even be priced remotely at their performance level.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was watching WAN Show earlier on today, and Linus jumped onto Amazon and looked at the top sellers in CPUs. Cheese. And he looked up on Amazon the top sellers in CPUs, and like, I think he had to go down to like 13th place to find an Intel CPU, and like the 9950X was higher on the top sellers than Intel's current gen i5, which is the good bang for buck, should be a top seller kind of CPU. Yeah, and he was just like, how is it that the most expensive consumer CPU that AMD make is selling better than Intel's blue collar, less than £1,000 gaming PC CPU? You know, that's not how this should work, you know. So yeah, kind of wild. Yes. Firephones says, does YouTube Studio show how many people watch the full length of the last video? It does. It does. I'm going to have a quick look.
7.
Interesting.
Click, then it will work.
Thank you.
So you know how you said you were buying replacements after the stream 2 weeks ago?
I'm buying replacements right now. Right now. We're going to... oh, weird. Why did I do that? I tried to do Command-T because this is a Mac keyboard. Control-T. Right now, Amazon. MK270. That's the set, or is that the keyboard? Yeah, that's the set.
For 16 of your pounds.
Why isn't it on Prime?
I don't know, but it's delivery on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's all delivery on Tuesday.
Yeah. Amazon Basics, no thanks. It's probably what we've got here. Do I want an MK270? Actually, how much is another one of the little... what make are those?
No.
What make are the combo ones?
What combo ones?
Yeah, the trackpad.
What, the Logitech?
Keyboard. Yeah.
Because these are horrid.
Yeah, what is it though?
It's a K400.
K400
or a K400 Plus.
Yeah.
Or a K400 Pro.
Yeah, because I stole one and took it home. 30 quid?
Do you know what you could get for less money?
What?
The 270 and have a real mouse.
Yeah, I know they're horrible to type on, but they're just more convenient. Okay, MK270.
Yeah, but what are you doing when you're sat here? You're predominantly mousing around, so you want an actual nice mouse, at least to me.
I guess. All right, give me 2 of those.
I'll buy your entire stock. Literally.
I'll take your entire stock. Oh. I wish JonTron hadn't gone insane. He was funny. All right.
Please wait whilst we process your transaction.
I don't know why I'm taking out my phone. It's not going to two-factor me for that. Okay, right, there we go. I bought a keyboard and mouse. Are you happy?
Transaction declined. Insufficient funds.
Are you happy? All right, it's done.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I was going to check the thing. Oh, okay. I need to check that on something else because we're logged onto the second account. I'm kind of curious as to. I'm going to look that up. Get your stuff. I'm just going to quickly look up stats because I'm kind of curious as to what the stats are on the latest video. Because yes, Studio does tell me.
There you go.
What the average watch length is. Oh, are you already there or?
Yeah.
So. It's one of them folding phones.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah. Let's see.
It's okay. Can I placate your weirdness with cheese?
I don't need cheese. Caradog bought a giant baby bell, a mommy bell, if you will, and it's just a big. Ever since he showed up this afternoon, he was just like, "Look at this! They make big ones." And then he opened it up. He's like, "Wow, it's huge!" And we just, I don't know what we expected. But
well, it's also just the fact that it wasn't partitioned in any way, shape, or form.
And we're just like, "Who is this for? Who wants a giant baby bell?"
Oh yes, I need to power wash you.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's see. Average view duration. So, I don't know how to read this because the average view duration, it's going to be higher by virtue of the fact that it's a longer video. However, for an interest thing, the average view duration on the latest video is 20 minutes and 23 seconds, which, if you're not used to stats, sounds depressingly low, but yeah, that's how it works. That's fairly typical. Let's go to the Corsair frame build video that I did. That video is 37 minutes long. Average view duration is 13.5 minutes.
Where are your probes?
I stole them because I was going to try and put some different ones on, and then I forgot to buy the different ones. Yeah, just grab the nice one. Then where's another repair video? Studio. Where's the menu? Oh, content. There we go. Corsair frame.
What?
Oh yeah, the Asus TUF video. That's an hour long. Average view duration 18 minutes. Standard MacBook Pro repair video 26 minutes long. Average view duration 12 minutes. So it looks like. It looks like 50% of the video tailing off as the video gets longer. I don't know, it looks fairly typical. It's slightly higher than average, but pretty typical, I would say. I think I think a metric that I find very interesting when looking at the stats is the ratio of view count to comment count. I think a video that's getting a lot of comments is interesting because that means the audience is engaged. Because, like, for example, by view count, this week's video is doing better than average, but it's not a breakout video. You know, like it's currently third in the rankings, so it's doing better than normal, but it's not a breakout. It's not one of those ones that bangs up to number one and just runs away and gets 20,000 views that week, kind of thing. It hasn't done that, but it has generated many more comments than average videos get, and that means that's an engaged audience, which I think is interesting. So yeah. There's your thing. What are you looking for?
Your batteries.
Oh yeah. Stand by. Then I'm going to come back and read chat. Oh, that's a good question. Where are they? Ah, there they are.
Excellent.
Is there a Kniff?
I can offer you some tweezers.
All right. Good. Going back through the chats. Sorry it took a call. Yeah. So look at the Alienware if necessary. Kara can call or message later if needed. All right. Well.
No, you signed yourself up now.
Yeah. We'll come back to this one. We'll come back to that because, like, I'd need to check in with the customer before allowing it to go out of the shop because, yeah, like, even if for a good thing, if I'm taking it off premises, I should check in with the customer to authorise that it's going somewhere else because the customer believes that it stays here, kind of thing. So whatever, blah 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 blah. Yeah, young bucks can't watch long form videos. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. It depends on what people are looking for, I guess. But
Clonk.
But yeah, I think a lot of people probably clock out of the video as soon as the diagnosis is complete. Like once I've identified what the problem is, I think a lot of people will immediately clock out because they know what's coming. Like if it's a faulty capacitor, they'll hang around for long enough for me to have identified which capacitor it is, and then they'll be like, cool, I know the answer, he's going to desolder it and put another one on and then end the video. And that's the point where they clock out. And that's fair enough. Personally, I generally watch videos up to the end, but I can understand people who clock out once they've seen the answer, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But whatever.
Actually, before I do this...
So, yes, I'm going to bury the phone somewhere.
I'm going to...
Whoop. Be silent, phone. I'm also going to lock the door because I forgot to do that.
Damn it! I'm going to steal a graphics card.
Although I've still got a dream that the Amazon man is going to show up with a motherboard. It'll actually be incredibly convenient if he does, but whatever. All right. Okay, coming back to things. I wonder if it's continuous watch time or includes skipping forward. I'm not sure. I think it does include skipping forward because YouTube does, like for example, if a video is an hour long and someone watches it at 2 times speed, that still counts as an hour of watch time, even though real time it was 30 minutes, because they still watched an hour's worth of the video. So yeah, I would expect them to count people skipping around in a video. So yeah. Brian says, I got an hour and 50 minutes into GN's 3-hour-long epic story. Yeah, I got about 20 minutes into that video. Not gonna lie, I clocked out on that one just because it's an interesting topic, but I do not believe it needed to be a 3-hour video. Especially because I feel like at any moment the tariffs are going to get cancelled and all the information in that video will immediately be irrelevant. I think they should have left that one on the back burner and waited to see how things panned out. Because, yeah, I think they've done a deep dive documentary on a developing situation. Like, they've done a documentary about a building that's burning down, and like they haven't put out the fire yet, man. It's a bit too quick, you know. So yeah, that's my opinion there. So yeah. Yeah, Mike says 3-hour video is total waste of time. Could have been recapped in 20 minutes. Yeah, like I would have hung around for an hour, like half an hour discussing the premise and such, and then half an hour of interviews with various people. But like, I didn't check, but I get the impression that they asked the same people the same questions when you could have had a selection of questions and then had each vendor answering the best answer from each vendor, kind of thing.
Yeah, and ask everyone the same question, but...
Yeah, and then take the best example answer from each one. And that way you could still have included all of these vendors, but not had 3 hours of content. So, yeah.
Well, 3 hours of video.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 hours of video, yeah.
Please may I have an USB for the BIOS updating?
Yeah, are there any flash drives kicking around on the counter? No.
Well, I know you had one that was specially reserved for it at one point, so I don't want to disrupt your flow.
Yeah. That one's... there's one on here somewhere. I'm glancing around.
I'm walking in the air.
Whatever's on there can be erased.
Very well.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Steve is starting to think he's a journalist. Yeah. I'm not going to bother too much getting into... I'll swap places while you do stuff. I'm not going to bother getting too much into the discourse there. However, I think, yeah, at the very least, again, putting out a 3-hour-long video, I'm just like, I appreciate you guys went to a lot of trouble getting this information. And also, like, one of the interesting things is that they had competing vendors meeting together in the same room. Like, they had competing vendors going to each other's HQs to discuss this topic. And it was very much a, look, everyone's coming together. They've all got the same problem. That was interesting and stuff. But again, just this video didn't need to be 3 hours, man. And
Damn it.
yeah, it was not engaging enough for 3 hours of content, in my opinion. So, yes. Can you snap to one side so I can see the chat, please?
Yeah.
Thanks. So, yeah. But I'm not going to sit here and rag on their video. So, yeah. Let's see. I was surprised when some revealed their actual costs. Yeah, although, yeah, there's possibly some interesting things there, although it still would have been, I think, it's hard to tell. I saw some comments of people being like, you know, I saw comments from people saying, I deal with these kinds of costings, and there's no way those spreadsheets are real, and just, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's not that I don't believe them, but yeah, I take it with a slight pinch of salt.
Yeah, that's basically what JD said, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, yes. Yeah. But, yeah. Also, though, it doesn't particularly matter because, as Greg M. has just said, you know, they showed the cost and effects on why they've stopped selling in the US. It's a case of, like, it doesn't particularly matter what the numbers are. The point is that the tariffs have made it infeasible for them to sell in the US. Therefore, they've just stopped selling in the US at the moment, you know.
There was an interesting comment from some vendor, I don't know which one it was, saying that apparently now they're losing £92 per unit sold, or $92 per unit sold.
Yeah.
And I was like, then why are you still selling it?
That's it. That was kind of my reaction.
But also, if you're losing $92 per unit sold, how expensive is your unit?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's the thing. It's just a lot of it. I feel like a lot of the numbers were sensationalized. Of this is what would happen if we were selling, and this is why we have not sold. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Kind of weird. So, but yeah, again, it's again, this is why I don't think a 3-hour video was warranted, because it's a case of, yeah, like it doesn't take 3 hours to explain why the tariffs are stupid and infeasible. Like, the bit that I was interested in was one of the early chapters was why not manufacture in the US, and it was interesting when, you know, I think it was the guy from Cyberpower PC. He sat down and he was like, you know, here is a motherboard. You know, why can't we just make our own motherboards in the US? Well, you've got to make the board in the US, but the problem is, this board has umpteen hundred parts on it, and each one of those parts comes from another factory. And in China, all those factories are in a city block, and there's, you know, the factory where you get that connector from is just down the road from you. So they come out of there and then they come into your factory. Yeah. It would take decades to build up that infrastructure in the US and stuff. Yeah. I'm like, that's good information that was in the first 20 minutes of the video. Once we got past that bit, I was like, you've kind of explained why the tariffs are stupid, because the only possible reason why the tariffs would be a good thing per se is to try and encourage domestic manufacturing again. However, the counterpoint is like, yeah, domestic manufacturing would be nice. However, allow me to present you with the list of reasons why we cannot do that in the time frame that you are demanding with these tariffs.
Yeah.
The tariffs are cataclysmic and require us to start domestic manufacturing tomorrow, when domestic manufacturing of what we would require would take decades to get into place.
But it's not just that. It's also the case of, it's like, I can't remember if it was Ford or GM already had a plant in the US employing US
citizens,
people making US cars.
Yeah.
And because of the tariff, they've had to shut it. because the tariff is on every single part that goes in the car to
Yeah.
build the car.
Yeah.
So they've had to shut the plant.
And you can't make all the parts in the US.
Yeah, they've had to shut the plant. So all of those people have lost their job.
Yeah.
Their manufacturing job in the US for a US company selling a US product because of the tariff on all of the parts.
Good job.
And they've instead made them in Mexico.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. UK tech buyers are reaping the benefits of the tariff wars. Yeah, I haven't kept too much of an eye on the prices.
It certainly looks like it because we've seen 5070 Ti's sit in stock at less than MSRP.
That's good, yeah, because I was going to say the big concern was that a US price hike would make all the other costs creep up because they're all, people would be deriving the value of a product from the US price and saying, well, if it costs this much in the US, we do currency conversion plus any costs kind of thing. Whereas it looks like that's not happening. They're actually taking, the MSRP or the cost from the supply cost, not the US cost, to value the product, which is good.
It's also just because no one wants to buy any NVIDIA GPUs.
Yeah, that helps as well, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, but yes, right. Plus, Steve mentioned how much it costs to do the video, by the way. Please buy from us. Oh, God. I'm not against Steve being like, this video is sponsored by us. Please buy our merch. That 100% legit. But it is annoying when people front run their videos by saying, this video cost us $10,000 to make, kind of thing. And it's just like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why, but that bothers me. Anyway.
It's also kind of the fact of, to me, as the layperson.
Yeah.
As the layperson, the person who doesn't have a YouTube channel with 1.2 million subscribers.
Yeah.
And industry contacts, is if you wanted to interview these people and they were already willing to talk to you, there is this wonderful technology called the internet, and there are these things called webcams.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you could have interviewed them on there and saved yourself hundreds of thousands of dollars based on your costing estimates.
Yeah, and that's not to say that...
Or you could have booked the interviews ahead of time instead of just turning up at their properties and saying, hey, will you do an interview?
Yeah.
Which is what they said they've done.
Oh, I see.
So you could have booked them all on the same day, booked a outward bound and inward bound ticket, paid a quarter of the price for your plane ticket, and only needed 1 day or 2 days of car hire.
Perhaps.
Therefore, saving yourself tens of thousands of pounds.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong.
By not being a moron.
Yeah, by having nice in-person interviews are nice. That's nice, but yeah, I think this is why I think this is why it bothers me when people front run their video by saying it cost us this much to do this, because it's just like, we didn't ask you to spend that amount of money. That was your choice to make. So it feels icky to front your video with that. But fine. I don't want to bitch and moan about it though. It's just, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know, yeah. It just feels like exactly the same comment they made on the UK video when they're like,
this cost us $40,000.
Because we flew 5 of our staff out to an empty field in a different continent.
And hired a drone operator to take a picture of
of an empty field. Or it's like, or you could have asked just one person locally to take a photo for you. They'd have charged you €200 and you'd have been done.
Yeah.
What?
Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. As a side note, I'm Infinite says, stop with the politics and stuff. Just like, everything is politics. There's a very apocryphal UK TV advert from many years ago. And I'm gonna explain this to you in excruciating detail just because it is as relevant as ever. In this TV advert, I can't remember, it was a public service announcement. I can't remember why they made this advert. I think it was just to try and educate the public. But there's 2 blokes sitting in a pub, and one of them is reading the newspaper, and he's just like, oh, the Prime Minister says such and such and such, and his mate next to him goes, I don't do politics. And he's like, oh, okay then.
Oh, I already know who.
And so then it cuts to another scene. Yeah. And they're like in a car, and the guy who said I don't do politics is just like, oh, bloody roadworks and why don't they do this? And the guy goes, you said you don't do politics. And then they go to another thing, and there's something else that bothers this guy. And he's like, oh, why they do? And he's like, you said you don't do politics. And the catchline of the advert was just like, if you don't do politics, well, you don't really do anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, don't get me wrong. There is, I think you need to have, there is what's known as the daily dose of poison. You know, this sort of stuff should be discussed, but people need a break now and then, which I strongly agree with. So I try to touch on things and then be like, okay, that's enough of that. Let's talk about something else. But if you don't do politics, you don't really do much of anything. This stuff has to be spoken about because it's affecting us every day. So yeah. Past that, let's talk about something else.
Past that, let's talk about my 3D printed IO
Let's see
shield.
if this 3D printed IO shield works.
I mean, it looks like it.
Yeah, Caradog said, can you 3D print me an IO shield for this motherboard I bought? And I jumped on printables and it turned out someone's designed one already. And I was like, that's cool.
Ta-da!
Will it fit though? Because that's the problem. I don't know if it'll actually stick in there. I'll be very impressed if it does, if I'm honest. I don't think it's going to clip in, but I think once the motherboard is there to push it in place, it'll do.
Yeah, basically. It fits. It's a thousandth too small.
Okay, that's
for it to actually pressure fit in there.
Yeah. However, hopefully by the time the motherboard's in there, that should hold it in place.
But yeah, that will do all the holding it needs. I was just seeing if you could push it around a bit.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah. That's a tiny case. It's ATX.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is that Antec case. What model was this again? An
AX20.
This is an Antec AX20.
Yeah, that's
This was
good.
the £30 case that I bought 4 of a while back, and when we reviewed it on the podcast, I was thoroughly disappointed with it.
You're just like, I bought this £30 case and it's a cheap case.
Yeah. All right, how are we feeling?
So for comments on printing, yeah, it needs to be 0.1 of a millimetre more that way.
Yeah.
And
is it good enough, or do we need?
Yeah, no. It's absolutely good enough. But I'm just saying, you know, if you had 10 of these motherboards and you were going, oh, I'll do a second edition of the print.
Yeah, print it a millimetre wider, basically.
Yeah, and basically the holes for the ports could probably be 0.1 of a millimetre narrower, so there was less hole.
Yes. Yeah.
But I randomly downloaded a thing and printed it. It's spot on and
pretty
perfect.
Good. Yeah. As a first, and like that was a first attempt as well. I just printed the one and just full sent. So yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yep. Hot glue the motherboard shield in. Motherboard is now premium. Yeah.
No. You take off the VGA nuts.
Yeah. Stick some washers behind
Stick it on there with some washers.
Yeah.
Put it back on. Premium upgrade. Oh, also I'm now gonna.
Oh, close your BIOS window. Yeah. Yep, that's fair. And also, this isn't an Apple Mighty Mouse. However, it's certainly designed to look like one. This is the cheapest. A customer came in.
It's an Aldi.
Is it an Aldi thing? Is it? Yeah, I don't know. A customer brought in a bag with a bunch of cheap wireless keyboard and mice in, and were like, "Do you want these?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, that'll be useful." But they're the cheapest, crappiest, most awful keyboards and mice imaginable, and I hate them. The only reason why we're using this is I sold the keyboard and mouse that was in use here. So now and this is why we were buying a new keyboard and mouse earlier on.
May I have some screws?
I will permit this. Yeah, 1 sec. I'll just grab some and then I'll catch up on the chat.
May I even go as far as to have a driver?
You're getting greedy now, Caradog. I'm not going to lie.
Well, what do you expect?
You have a driver already.
What do you expect? I have standards to maintain.
Yeah. No, I haven't done fibre yet. Purely, I know what needs to be done for that. I just haven't done it just because I haven't gotten around to it. So, yeah. Biggest issue with these cases is the fixed fan speed. Yeah, I think that was the reason. I think that was the reason why I came off with a negative impression of this case was the Molex fans. If the fans had been 3-pin fans, like not asking for PWM, not asking for the RGB to be controllable, even if they had no RGB control, just a 3-pin fan header, and it's just powering the LEDs from the 3-pin fan header, that would have been fine. It's the fact that they were Molex that killed it for me. because that now means that the fans are going to be loud unless you mod the fan connectors, which is just an annoying thing to have to do. And it also means that you have to have a Molex connector in the case, which is, I mean, I guess if you're doing a cheap build, you're probably using a non-modular power supply anyway, so you'll have a Molex connector there, but just there. You can't mod it.
Well, you can.
Oh,
you
can repin it, but some of them can't easily be repinned because of the shape of the plug on it, and so.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do these ones from memory because we put them to 7V.
Yeah, I was going to say, I seem to remember we modded these on the day, but it's still very annoying to do one way or the other. If you mod the ARGV, you won't have 12 volts. Oh yeah, I think at 7 volts they still lit up. I think at 5 volts though, because like I would want to 5 volt the fans, but yeah, they won't light up at 5 volts, I'd imagine. So yeah. Da, 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 da. You splurged on an Apple Magic Mouse and it's the worst mouse you've ever used. Yeah, you made a mistake, Stevie. Not going to lie. Yeah. Yeah. The Apple keyboards are nice enough, but their mice are terrible. Yeah. Apple just... Yeah. Apple haven't been able to make a very compelling mouse. They haven't really been trying for a while either. They've got the Magic Trackpad, but... I don't know, it still feels wrong to use a trackpad on a desktop computer, but I couldn't tell you why. I couldn't tell you why. I mean,
it's partially because using a trackpad just feels wrong.
I like trackpads. I've got no beef with them. But, yeah.
You will be first against the wall. Also, I told a mutual friend of ours that the other day with the included ooh woo, and they were like, "No, do not, do not ooh woo me."
Verboten. Option key is Windows key on an Apple keyboard. No. So on an Apple keyboard, the Windows key and the Alt key are reversed. And the Windows key becomes Command, and the Alt key becomes Option, if that makes sense.
Huh?
So yeah, so if you notice on these, the Windows key and the Alt key are the other way around. And Windows is Command and Alt is Option. On a normal keyboard, the Windows key would be there and Alt would be next to the space.
I think, sorry, I thought you said on a Mac keyboard to get a Windows key. I was thinking about it the wrong way round. And did myself a confuse. I will pin you up there. What are you? Are you HD audio?
Clear as mud ground. Cheers. Yeah. Greg M says, anyone have a place in North America to buy replacement cables for an EVGA semi-modular power supply? Have you checked eBay? Like, because like probably eBay, worth a check.
But yeah, that's the worst part about modular, semi-modular power supplies. Is basically, unless it's Corsair, I've not found any replacements.
It's one of the reasons why I often find myself just buying a Corsair power supply. Like in that Frame 4000 video, when I unboxed the power supply, I was like, Corsair power supply, can't go wrong with that. And someone in the comments was just like, actually, they've been known to fail, kind of thing. I'm like, oh come on, dude, you know what I mean. You know, it's a common power supply, support everywhere, you can find cables, it's going to be gold or platinum, it's fine. Stop being that guy, you know. eBay is a place where you have to trust the cables are pinned out properly. I mean, if they're original EVGA cables, it should be fine. I guess you could go to Cable Mod, but that'll be expensive, so not good if you're trying to save money, I guess. Don't EVGA have different cable stands on different ranges? That's the annoying thing about modular power supplies, is you can never be sure. Corsair seemed to be the only manufacturer that were just like, we have marked cables. We have the Type 3 and Type 4 cable, the Type 3, Type 4 and Type 5 cables. So the cables have written on them what they're compatible with, you know. Maybe easier to just get a different PSU. Yeah, it's always a shame though. Like, it's just, I had this, for my build that I'm going to do in the second half of the stream, I had this RM650X kicking around for ages with no cables for it. So I've slowly been buying a cable here and a cable there, and now I've got enough to actually use the power supply again. But this is a Corsair, so all I had to do was buy Type 4 cables. Problem solved. Whereas, with the EVGA ones, I can see that being less easy to figure out. When did USB 3C front header start on Mobos?
Like 2017.
Really, was
2018?
It that far back? Yeah, quite a long time back. However, it was hit and miss. Even now, there's still now and then you'll see the odd motherboard that doesn't have it. It was Type C connectors. It kicked off. It's kind of like having Type C on the rear I/O. There are 6th gen motherboards with a Type C port on the back of them. But then when Type C kind of didn't take off, there was a period of time where a lot of the mid-range motherboards didn't bother putting Type C on them because no one used it. So then it kind of even more fell flat. And then it came back and it started becoming a thing. And yeah, I think reliably AM5 onwards. However, AM4, I think B5, I think X470 was hit and miss. I would expect any B550 motherboard to have a Type C front header on it.
Yeah, well, the vast majority of them anyway.
Yeah, but if you're buying a low-end motherboard like like an A series board, then luck of the draw. Luck on the draw, erring on no. I'm sounding a bit low today. Oh yeah, I am looking a bit low. I'll bring my mic up a bit.
Disease.
Yeah, I'm mounting my microphone a bit low down, I think. Asus Tough Gaming B550 Plus doesn't have a Type USB-C header. Oh, that's annoying for a Tough Gaming. Yeah.
The Asus. That's a low-end board.
Yeah, the Tough.
According to Asus.
Yeah, the Tough boards are weird. Asus class it as a low-end board, but it really should be a mid-ranger in my opinion. Like the Prime is the low-end board. That's why it annoys me when Asus call the Tough boards low-end. I'm like, well, no, that's what the Prime series is. So, A series doesn't give an M.2 slot also. Citation needed.
It varies.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm astonished that there are any motherboards made within the past 6 years that don't have Type C. M.2.
Because I think it was technically optional, so I'm sure there's like a BioStar one that doesn't have one.
Sure, but it's BioStar, so you know.
They're just pleased to be there.
Yeah. God, I need a clip of that. You know, I need to go back and find that and make a clip of it because that was, yeah, savage. How is Caradog mic'd? He's wearing a DJI as well, but Caradog is smart and hides his in the inside of his shirt. Yeah.
Oh, you can't actually see that.
Yeah, so it's more up against his chest. I tend not to do that just for balance purposes, just because I have my voice tends to boom a bit more, so I have it deliberately mounted on the outside just to take some of the boom off of my microphone. So yeah. However, also I'm constantly tempted to do the glasses mount because that seems to work quite well for me. How do I sound now, you see?
Why did you go randomly? I think I'm trying to pretend to be Texan, but I'm not sure.
Well, no, it was more like a how do you do, fellow kids?
Okay.
How do I sound now, fellow kids? This is what the YouTubers do. They put their microphone in weird places, or they hold it in front of their mouth, etc. So, yeah.
It's okay, on this channel we just use the customer screaming wall. That was screening, not screaming, by the way. Never make your customers scream.
Put it on the beard. The beard isn't reliable, it falls off. I've tried that before.
It's okay, we have a solution.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't immediately pick up a roll of tape.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah. You might want to get a DJI Mic Mini. They're like a third of the size of those. Yeah, and they're probably I paid 300 quid for these mics.
They're fine. They work.
Yeah.
When they die in like 5 years' time.
Yeah, no.
We might get something then.
Yeah, although if I do... if I were to buy another... If I were to get more mics, next time I'd want to get something that's scalable. So like a set where you can have buy a receiver with 2 mics and have the option to buy a third mic that will also go with it, just for the odd occasion where we have guests on the show. Just so when that time comes around, I can just buy another couple of microphones to scale up. Or I guess at that point you could just buy 2 dual kits and just have 2 mics plugged in. So
probably you could probably get away with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, ta-da!
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah, there's a hole there. That can come up there. Fine. Good. Based on the parts we have available to us, that's done now.
We need to 3D print a beard connector. That's quite funny. I'm not going to do that, but that's a funny comment. Thumbs up.
It's over there.
Tough, not really low-end brand. They have laptops like 1,700 quid. Yeah, but this is how Asus class them. You know, certainly for the motherboards anyway, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is my point. Asus themselves have classed TUF as a low-end brand for them. You know, certainly...
TUF is their cheap one.
Yeah.
And then if you're really too much of a peasant to buy Asus, they've got Prime. That is their opinion.
Yeah. And then after that, then you have Strix, then you have Republic of Gamers, you know.
If you're not buying a Hero or higher, they don't care.
Yeah. And I don't agree. I agree with you. I do not agree with this assessment, but that is how Asus sees it. And that's why their AM5 prices were asinine when they came out. And why I don't think I've bought an Asus motherboard in a hot minute because they're just...
Here is the Asus Prime B650 that's going to cost $290.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I remember when the AM5 boards first came out and they announced the prices, and I'm just like, what do you mean the Strix is £300? Are you insane? You know, like the X570F Strix, that was a cracking motherboard, and it was like 180 quid, and it was one of the best X570 boards on the market. And I think at some point it went down to like 160 or something like that. And now we're at a point where it's just like, yeah, now if you want Strix written on your motherboard, that's going to cost you £300. I'm like, no. Thank you, I will buy the Gigabyte instead, or the MSI.
Not the MSI.
It's fine, it works.
Nope.
And yeah, I mean, you can say like, oh, well, you know, I object to MSI as a brand kind of thing. It's just like, yeah, okay, well, how about Gigabyte and those power supplies, huh? How about Gigabyte and their X670 motherboards that are shit and don't work? How about that?
We have evidence that you bought a broken one from Amazon.
Yeah, but like, didn't JD say all of the Gigabyte X670s were garbage? Like, even when it worked, the BIOS was garbage. You know. So it's just like...
You have no evidence.
I have no brand loyalty. I buy what works.
No, I only buy ASRock.
JD hates everything. It's true.
I only buy ASRock. That's it. ASRock, give me your boards. Give me your graphics cards. Give me your Taichi 9070 XT.
Yeah. MSI X570 launch was terrible. Yeah. I mean, the B550 really was where the AM4 platform matured, I think. Yeah, it's got a weird connector on it. It's got a weird Wi-Fi connector. It's one of these newfangled quick release connectors because apparently a screw connector was too complicated for Wi-Fi.
On a B550?
I know. I was just... yeah.
That's why I was confused, because I was like...
It's a cheap motherboard.
This is the new Quick Connect.
Yeah, it's new and fancy, and they've put it on a B550.
You bought a new motherboard, is...
Yeah, so the reason why I bought a brand new B550 motherboard is I bought it with my Amazon US vouchers.
Yes, that was why I was particularly confused. I was like, this is a new motherboard.
Yes.
What?
Yep.
I was bemused.
Yep. I have many Amazon US vouchers which I cannot spend in the UK. So now and then I just jump on Amazon US and I just buy whatever I need and pay whatever the shipping and import charges are because the vouchers are quote unquote free. So
yes.
This motherboard was quote unquote free.
Is that going in the XPG?
Yes, it is.
Does the XPG have a power supply?
No, but I've got one next to me.
Excellent.
Yep, I'm putting the RM650X in it.
I presume this laptop is nothing to do with it.
That laptop is irrelevant. It just happens to be sitting there at this moment in time.
Excellent. Also, yes, didn't you say you were going to make a swift getaway shortly after we went live?
I still could, but I think I can hold it. It's fine. Right. Is this case still looking? Yeah, this case still looks nice. Yeah, it's still all right. I'm selling it. Yeah.
Of course, it looks all right. You're selling it.
Yeah.
It looks fine. You're selling it.
Yeah. Do you pay tax on Amazon gift vouchers?
Pardon?
I don't declare it because the value of it never hits my bank account. What I really need to do is change the affiliate code so it pays into my bank account instead of being paid out to me in vouchers that I can't spend. P.S. If someone wants to buy Amazon Canada, if someone wants to buy Amazon Canada gift vouchers from me, I'll sell them at below face value. I'm not.
No, oh no! What you should have said is, I'll sell them to you for a different value.
Yeah.
And then you say, here, yes, you may buy these vouchers. Here is a $50 voucher. I will sell it to you for $75.
Yeah. However, no, I do not declare my Amazon vouchers because they never hit my bank account. That much being said, I will be changing a lot of things in this financial year because I've been cooking my books for over a decade, and I'm financially unlendable as a result, and I need to fix that.
It's not because of the cooking your books.
Well, yeah, it is.
There's
been money there. I've been making money. Otherwise, I would have gone bust. But yeah, as I say, I've been boiling the books up in a big cauldron, so it looks like I don't make any money on paper. I'm going on the straight and narrow this year, and I'm actually going to declare all of my income because I actually want to get a mortgage at some point in my life.
I wouldn't declare all of your income.
Yeah, within reason.
A small amount of it.
Yeah. Certainly, for example, my Google AdSense goes into my personal account and usually just goes onto my flat rent. And that's not an insignificant amount of my monthly income, So yeah. Why is he confessing? This isn't a crime. But yeah, it's not a crime. But yeah, the problem is though when you write everything off as an expense, you don't make any money. So I need to set things and just be like, yeah, no, these aren't expenses. This is just income.
What?
Right.
That's a weird layout, but also at least it has some.
Oh God, these are all X1 port. What the hell? Okay, hold on a minute. These are all X1 ports. They're 16. They're X16 long, but all of them are wired for a single lane. All four of them are.
Yeah.
This is an X16. The rest of them are all X1s.
Yeah.
What a bizarre layout.
Yeah.
It looks nice, though. And that's important. I said I wanted a board that looks nice.
They should have dropped this one anyway.
Yeah, like, that's unusable as soon as you have a graphics card fitted. And, like, that's kind of annoying because you could have just dropped that entirely and made that a × 4 or something like that. Hell, you could have just dropped these and made that a × 4 or something.
No, you'd take these 3 off, move that up to that slot, put that up there, because then you can still use that in most cases, with it being here.
Yeah.
So you can still dual graphics card if you wanted to, or you can capture card.
Yeah.
And it's still not interfering with the connectors along the bottom.
Yeah.
Which cooler's going on this? Is it going to be a clippy one?
Probably not. Let me go and have a look and see what CPU coolers I actually have. Let me just see if any of these boxes in the windowsill actually have a cooler in them.
As Si says, it's okay. We'll fix your accounts.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I'm working on that.
We will fix you. We will improve you.
Have these got?
What about this cooler? I don't know what it is.
I've got some dinky deep cools here. I don't know if this will hack a 5800X, but this. Do we have mounting hardware for this?
I don't know.
Right, there is some stuff there.
It's okay. You have a 3D printer.
Yeah, no, we've tried that. It didn't work. I think I've got Intel mounts for that. Actually, let me have a look at some of the back plates that I've got, just in case any of those fit. There's some back plates kicking around over here. Oh, that's Intel. Oh, I'm sure I had an AMD backplate kicking around that I wanted to retain for this exact reason. Oh, I'll get it. It's close to me.
Oh, it's there.
Yeah.
I wasn't even sure where it was.
Yeah. We'll come back to that because I need to look around and see if I can find a backplate that's compatible with that cooler. That would be big enough, but I don't think we have the hardware for it.
Is that tall enough just to screw into the board? Yeah, probably.
I mean, you can try it if you want.
Well, I didn't know if it had cross braces that it screwed into again.
Yeah.
That's why I was double checking.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to fit any backplates because those are metric threads, not imperial.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, and also that I'm fairly certain that's a. Oh yeah, no, that looks like AMD alignment. I think it might only go to AM3 though as well, because it's quite old, that cooler.
But AM3's the same.
No, it's not. AM3 slightly narrower.
It's still got the wrong screws though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TLDR, I don't think that's going to work.
It'll line up with them.
Try it.
But no, the screws are wrong, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. However, here's a Deepcool AG200, which looks too small for a 5800X, but I'm kind of curious to stick it on there and actually. I'm actually kind of curious to fire this up and drag race it and see if that can hack a 5800X.
It's a little one.
Yeah. Wow, that's really small actually. That's not gonna do a 5800. I think we should put it on and try it and laugh at it though.
We will find out.
Yeah. Oh no, it's got one of these horrible things on it. Gross.
Oh, weird.
All right, I'll let you. Too smooth. Yeah, yeah, that's a 92mm fan, but also it's. Oh god, it's 2 heat pipes. Yeah. Nah, this thing's good for like. This thing's good for like 60 watts, maybe 90 tops. Deepcool has 100 watt TDP according to Overclock. Yeah. I mean 100 watt.
Oh no. It just clips on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I wasn't looking there. Yeah. Yeah, that ring thing, that must be the Intel mount then. Yeah, sure, let's chuck it on, see what it does.
You can get the absolute garbage mount with Intel.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's a no-go. Let's find out.
We can do crimes.
Yeah. Because also, like, at the end of the day, I don't have a compatible cooler, so we'll stick this on there for now, just for testing, so we can be like, look, the computer works, and I will buy a bigger cooler and change it off camera. So yeah, where's the Assassin? I don't have any in stock. Yeah.
Are you certain?
Yes.
Okay. Because you had coolers down there.
Yeah, there is a Peerless Assassin down there.
Why the fuck have I got 3 of these now?
I don't know. There was stuff in the box there. Yeah, there is a Peerless Assassin down there. However, I only have the Intel mounts for it because of reasons. So yeah.
You'll have to sell someone an Intel machine at some point.
Yeah, the frustrating thing is, I did at one point, and I bought another one, and used that one instead of the one I already had in stock with only an Intel mount. And the one opportunity I had to get rid of the one with the Intel mount on it, I forgot that I had it. I was very upset. That was a mistake that cost me £28 probably. So
you fool!
Well, it didn't cost me £28. There was a lost opportunity of £28. So yeah. Can you not use screws from the Z-cooler? No, because coolers all have their own mounting systems. They're all different. Mounting systems are all different on different coolers. They don't mix and match. Otherwise, this would be very easy to solve.
For a clip hold down thing, that's actually reasonably well thought out because it's got a big handle on one side.
Yeah, I appreciate the big tab there. Yeah.
The only problem is there's a big tab.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. It's adorably small. Yeah.
It doesn't slice your fingers up.
No.
Which is my.
But also, there's just not enough metal there. If the fin stack were more dense, I might believe in it, but I don't think it has the thermal mass. So yeah, I don't think it's going to hack it, but it will be fun to watch it try.
Yes. Is the I/O in here?
Yes, I will bust that out for you. The RAM is also questionable on there. That's some mixed RAM. I just want to try it out and just see if it works, basically. There's a 3200 and 3600. And I'm just trying to see if I can just get rid of those random oddball sticks and just run it at 3200.
You just managed to bend every single one of those things.
No, I'm preemptively bending them so they don't stick into the USB ports. The year is 2025 and we're still fitting tin I/O shields. Alright. Oh, I'm standing here now. There you go.
Very well. Are you having a cider? Are you having a coffee?
I'm going to have a coffee, I think. I'm
well.
struggling for energy today.
Very well.
I kind of burnt up I had limited energy this morning and I've burnt through it all already, recording videos. No, we do have the overhead cam, but I'm slotting a motherboard into a case. It's not that exciting. I could get it, I guess, but I think by the time I've set it up, we're going to be done. So yeah. You might be surprised. You've got an 1800 cooled with a Hyper 212X. Yeah, like I said, that's why I'm interested in testing it. A lot of people do tend to underestimate coolers. I don't think this one's going to be big enough, but I think it will do better than people are expecting, which is why I'm interested to show it off. Apparently it's rated for 100 watts, but also the CPU is going to be looking for 120. So that's why.
Probably be smart if I mute myself.
Oh, well, but then people won't have the kitchen ASMR. Are you leaving?
I'm leaving for the land of coffee.
You ruined it. You ruined it and I'm leaving. What happened to the screws? Where did you put the screws, Caradog?
There weren't any in the case.
No, but I gave you 2 pots full of screws.
They're on your bench.
Ah, they're over here. Okay. No. Oh, well, that thumbscrew's gone forever now.
You just spilled all the screws.
No. I just dropped a thumbscrew. All right.
No, what kind of massive clock do you think I am? He says.
Rude. Needs a camera attached to the other side of my glasses. If only there was some kind of glasses with a built-in camera and screen and stuff like that.
You know what? I have one of them.
Do you still have your Google glasses? Yeah,
No.
Google Glass. Yeah.
Although they were my Google glasses because they have prescription lenses on as well.
No, fair. Oh, that is a Imperial.
No imperial entanglements.
What the hell? This standoff feels terrible. There we go. Yeah, I was crossing the thread. Try and find some matching screws as a special treat. Ba 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 ba. Can you not 3D print mounting? No, Firefly. Well, let me think. I need to look at what's missing from the Peerless Assassin again. I've tried 3D printing CPU cooler mounts before, but the issue is just they just don't stand up to the pressure. That much being said, I've not tried printing one in ABS. When I've tried 3D printing cooler mounts, I've done it in PLA, and PLA is not particularly strong because it's just not designed to be. However, that much being said, if I actually came up with a design that worked, or found a design that worked, I could print it in ABS, and that probably would hold up. Because, yeah, my printer can, in fact, do ABS. It's not very good at it, but it does do it.
You did print the Noctua offset mounts for me.
I did, yeah. Screws. How many more do I need? I need 2 more. Nearly there. Gimme that one. I should have just used silver screws. There's millions of those in here. However, I went for nice round head black screws, which are the least common. PLA also gets softer with 60C. Yeah, you're not going to see 60 degrees in the cooler mounts. Yeah, you're not going to get that kind of temperature over at the cooling mounts. Because that's all isolated from the cooler itself. Like, you're not seeing core temperature in the cooler. That's just not a thing. You can buy a Dark Rock Pro for like €40, slightly used. Yeah, that's the other thing about all of this. Like, again, that Peerless Assassin, like, it's not an expensive cooler. I could just buy another one, you know. But it's also just, it's a shame because I've got a couple of nice coolers lying around that it would just be nice to use them because they're around, you know. So, yeah. Right, that motherboard is screwed in.
Excellent. You need fans.
Yeah, I don't have any fans lined up for this right now. But yeah, you're right.
Have a random black one.
No. I'm not putting in random fans. It's got a front intake and a front exhaust. I might move the exhaust to an intake and just give it 2 front intake fans. That would be fine, to be honest. I don't.
It's a Cooler Master fan. It's branded and everything.
Yeah, but it doesn't match anything else in the case.
It's okay. You add a Cooler Master heatsink.
Yeah, like I'm not going to put. I don't think I'm going to add any RGB to this, just because there's not there isn't any RGB in it already. So, like, yeah, there's no point. Oh well, no, it's got an LED strip in it, but I'm probably going to pull out that LED strip because it's pretty old and manky. So yeah, I'm gonna put in the power supply.
I have an unreasonable number of Corsair power supply cables. Just from the ones over the years where they've had spares and stuff.
I probably should have checked in with you before I bought more for my RM650X, but on the other hand, I think I needed the 24-pin ATX and stuff like that, ones that you probably wouldn't have, because like I've got millions of SATA ones and that kind of thing. But
I've got a standard 24-pin, I think.
What the was I doing here?
Crimes.
Yeah, I was doing severe RGB crimes here. I have soldered ARGB couplers onto the ends of these, so you can daisy chain ARGB together, and then so I can plug those together and then T-piece another ARGB wire in. Oh, that's jail time, that is, but it works. I forgot this. Yeah, this thing's got a dorky ARGB light at the bottom. I think this shines like the XPG logo onto your desk or something dorky like that. I think I'm going to pull the RGB out of this.
How long ago did you do this? Probably like 6 years ago.
Yeah, this was an early review sample when I started getting review samples for stuff. There is a video of me reviewing this somewhere, and I was just like, yeah, pretty good. It's fine, and it's just sat around unused ever since. And I'm just like, it's not a bad case. It's fine. So I'm just going to build it up and just sell it because it allows me to build a computer for cheap. Because I want a cheap computer to sell because people come in and they want to buy a computer for £600. So yeah. Okay, right. I need to speed up because I'm going slow here. Power supply. And I'm going to mount this fan side down because it doesn't have a vented... Oh, God. Oh, I see. Okay. For a minute, I was like, how the fresh hell do you get the power supply into this? Because the opening isn't big enough.
Also, bonus screws.
What is that? Oh, it's like a foot that the power supply sits on. Whack.
Bonus.
Anyway, yeah, this is one of those weird cases where the power supply slots in through the back.
Oh, I see. There's a little panel that unscrews.
Yeah, so that's gonna.
Oh God.
It's gonna come off. Annoying backplate style dealio.
Yeah. I only find that acceptable when you're mounting the power supply in a weird place.
Yeah.
Like top right kind of thing or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it contributed to letting them keep the vertical height of the case down, but I think for the sake of another 10 millimeters, they wouldn't have had to do that, and I don't think anyone would care about another 10 millimeters of height.
Or, which would have been, I imagine, significantly more expensive, have a removable shield, PSU shroud, because then you could just place it into the case through the big side opening.
Yeah, I guess
it would require a lot more tooling.
Yeah, I'm generally not a fan of that, but that's purely just because every time I see one, they're just incredibly annoying and finicky to remove. And I just would rather not. Although it's been a while since I've seen someone do that. I think the last time I saw that in action was my Corsair C400C, which was that's the one that I had in the old shop that had the swing plastic side panel. That one had a removable power supply shroud.
Yeah, 600 for a PC build's easy if you're building with mainly secondhand.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to put those there, and I'm going to kick this out of the way. Boop.
Because £600 is basically what I aim for as a starting point for pretty much everything, and then kind of work backwards from there.
Yeah. How's the JLC deal going? It's going good at the moment. I've signed a sponsorship deal with JLC. The first video for that is coming out this week, in fact. It's going to be another Slime VR video. And I know that most of my core audience is very bored of Slime VR videos, but the reason why I've done that is that I signed the JLC video. I signed the JLC contract about a week or two ago, starting in April. And so basically it was a matter of, I'm immediately going to miss a month because I'm signing this contract like a third of the way into the month, and these videos are going to take weeks to produce each, allowing for planning, building, and editing, and I was already making another Slime VR video for the second channel on the side, so I've retooled that, and I'm going to release it on the main channel as the April JLC sponsor video, because it features a custom circuit board. So it's very easy for me to be like, this is a sponsored video now. It wasn't going to be, but I genuinely use JLC PCB, so I could easily just turn that into a sponsor video. So that's actually coming out this week. But I am starting to think about the next one. The next one's going to be a macro pad. Now, if you're a channel contributor, so like if you're a patron, a Twitch subscriber, or a YouTube channel member, patron, Twitch subscriber, YouTube channel member. Yeah, those are the three ways.
And you can subscribe on Twitch for free if you have Amazon Prime.
And if you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe on Twitch for free. You get access to the exclusive rooms in the Discord, and one of the exclusive rooms is the JLC planning rooms, where I am doing all of the details for what's coming up, the planning, the research, the build progress, and everything. So if you are interested in these projects, I'm actually giving a reward to the subscribers by putting some exclusive content there. So yes.
The other thing that would probably be worth doing is posting to like the YouTube members page and Patreon and stuff that is there.
Yes, I need to do an update to those because I've neglected, like, I haven't opened Patreon for probably well over a year. It just kind of ticks over, and I need to get back to them and be like, hi everyone who's here, thanks for supporting me, by the way. I know a lot of you guys are in the Discord, but for those of you who aren't, that is kind of where you need to go to find the content. Because as much as I want to say, I really need to be posting content on Patreon, I'm realistic about my ability to actually do so, which is I'm not able to do so.
I think you could cross-post an awful lot of it reasonably easily.
Cross-posting just takes a lot of effort. It is, well, for me, cross-posting is extremely time-consuming and tedious, which means I won't do it, which is why it doesn't get done.
Yeah.
And I know it's very...
Just to kind of... Yeah, I meant in a lot of the thing of just to say, like, cross-post stuff in the sense of, hi, still alive, Discord is where stuff's going, and just kind of, this is the project home that I've recently posted, kind of thing.
That's what I'm going to do anyway. Yeah. But I want to be realistic about what I actually have the energy to do.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, I do not have the energy to be active on all of these platforms simultaneously.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
I meant just
just
kind
broadly
of when
speaking,
you make those, like when you said, oh, this is a project I'm going to do. Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I've just done the announcement there. I should do that same announcement on Patreon. Yes, yeah. That's what I'm planning to do. Yeah. So yes. So yes, yeah, that's the thing. But yes, so yeah. Oh yeah, no, I was just thinking, how do we get onto this topic? So yeah, the JLC deal, that is in progress, and I'm kind of excited about that. There's stuff coming up, and I'm going to be taking suggestions and that kind of thing. So yes, I'm excited for that to pan out.
I will hire a media manager for £1 a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you do really well, the budget may increase to £2 a month.
Yeah.
For you see, based off of my accounts, I make no money.
Yeah, like even that's hard because it's like the issue with hiring a video editor. By the time I've actually micromanaged the video editor into making what I want, I could have done it myself. By the time I've checked their work and said, "Can you change this? Can you change this? Can you change this?" I could have just done it myself. That's the problem.
But by the time
and every
you get
time
onto like the third video,
maybe, yeah, but yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Well, because if they haven't learnt by the second or third video, you're probably going to be replacing them anyway.
Yeah, and that feels crappy when I'm offering people nothing in exchange. So, like, if I was paying an editor, then yeah, sure, I would hold them up to these standards and say, yeah, we need this done. If you're not delivering that, then I'll find someone else. You can say that when you're paying people, but when you're expecting people to do stuff for free for you, something gift horse mouth. So, oh, this EPS cable won't go in.
That's because it's not an EPS cable.
It's because it's not clipped together properly. What the hell happened to that?
Ah, it's melted.
Ah. Oh my god. Please. Oh my god. Okay. I'm going to snap these clips off in a minute. All right. And the other one bent.
It's okay. It's okay. You have the customer screening wall.
I was about to say I'm a leaf on the wind, and I was like, wait, he said that moments before he got speared by an enormous branch or shard of metal. Never mind. I was making a Serenity reference.
Okay.
No, Firefly.
Okay.
Did he die in Serenity or Firefly?
In Serenity.
Yeah.
The film.
Yeah, Firefly got cancelled before he died, didn't he?
The third film, right?
No, it was only one film.
I thought there were like 3 films.
No, there was
okay.
Yeah, there was a TV show and a film.
Oh, okay.
Film was bad. TV show was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. The film was like.
I try not to comment on the TV show or the film.
Why?
Because I started watching it and just kind of went, huh.
You just didn't like it, yeah. Fair enough.
It just, yeah.
It wasn't for you.
It sits solidly in the category of stuff where I'm like, there's nothing wrong with this and this is quality media, but I have negative interest in watching this.
Fair.
And I have got this far in watching it purely out of spite.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked Firefly a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought the film was bad because it was unrestrained in a way that writers ought to be restrained. The film was the edgy teenager right of the characters, not the realistic, refined version. You know, like, for example, in the TV show, River is this gifted but troubled child who now and then does very inexplicable acts, and no one's quite sure what the deal with her is. and every now and then she does something that is completely inexplicable, that's kind of scary, but everyone just agrees not to talk about it because no one actually wants to face what might be the truth, kind of thing. But then in the film, no, she's this wacky fucking ninja teenager who just kills all the guys with a smile and dual wields hatchets or something, and is just zero subtlety at all, and it's just like, no, that's a bad River. That was the writer's fantasy version of River, not a good version of River, you know.
That also just from, again, only having seen a little bit of the series, seems completely out of keeping with any of the characters who were in the series. And none of the people who were there would have accepted that behaviour. Yeah.
And like, I seem to remember in the film, everyone's a little bit freaked out by it, but they just kind of shrug and carry on, and are like, "Are we not talking about that?" You know.
Having not seen the film, I can't overly comment, but from the description, I'm just kind of like, huh.
Yeah. Because in the TV show, there were some really heart-wrenching moments with River that made me really care about her as a character. There were some devastatingly well-acted moments.
Yeah.
Whereas in the film, it just seemed to have just no subtlety to it. All the shades of grey were gone, kind of thing. I was like, no.
Yeah. I should probably try and give Firefly another go at some point.
I think also, though, I can understand how it's got to hold up to a very high standard with you, because you're a big fan of that genre of sci-fi as a, you know, sort of Star Trek aficionado and such, and like there's stiff competition from that.
Kinda.
And I know Star Trek isn't exactly the same, but it's still, it's a similar kind of deal.
Yeah, I think it's the fact. Yeah, certainly the fact of, I don't know, for a lot of the sci-fi stuff, it's the fact of it's always it should be a mirror.
Elaborate.
So and it should be an allegory for an issue that we have.
Okay, I get you. Yeah.
And it's kind of a case of, you take this, you put it in this universe, you've suddenly developed 3 degrees of separation, but you can now work through a moral quandary.
Yes.
And it was the fact of, I think I just kind of missed that out of Firefly, because it was kind of a case of, I don't know if I just missed explainer stuff and so on, but it was just kind of a case of, it felt like I got dropped in 2/3 of the way through a book.
Yeah, it does kind of start that way. But I think that's just because where it's a TV show, they're trying to get you up to speed very quickly, which is why the pilot episode does bring you up to speed very quickly. But also later on in the series, they do quite a couple of flashback episodes where they sort of wind the clock back and explain how a character ended up on the crew. Especially like this, because in the pilot of Firefly, there is like, I think 4 members of the crew already there, and then they pick up the like another 3 members of the crew.
Yeah.
And so you meet them because the crew is meeting them in the pilot, and their dealio is explored there. But the existing crew members, you're like, I don't know who these people are, but they are then explored later on.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. So yes. All right. Well, that was a little distraction. I'm building a computer here, slowly. Right. That's all Molex. I do not care about you. Why have I think I just put this on the power supply just for safety, because I didn't know where this power supply was going to get used. And I was like, I'll lob a Molex on there just in case.
I mean, it's worth getting rid of a Molex with every single core set power supply, because you'll end up with so sodding many of them.
Yeah. Eesh. I'm just going to stuff that right down the bottom there. Be gone.
I think the thing for me as well is the fact that obviously I don't know anything about the Firefly universe.
I mean, I didn't until I watched Firefly.
And it was just kind of a case of, it feels like, I don't know, the universe just, to me at least, I wasn't entirely certain what was actually kind of going on in the universe.
Yeah. Again, I think you needed to stick around for longer.
Yeah.
But then also, I kind of, but also just like, Firefly was a show where I was hooked from the first episode.
Yeah.
And if you weren't, then maybe it's not for you, kind of thing. But also, you know, maybe if you got through a couple of episodes, you would start getting, it would start connecting. You would get invested, and then be like, oh no, actually, once I got going on it, it was really good. So yeah, because also like, it's not like other beloved TV shows have always had banger starts. Like you know, hecking like Next Generation's pilot. Kind of a weird episode, you know. I mean, no, that's harsh, actually.
No. It's definitely a weird episode.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I've lost the plot.
I thought it. Changing the topic to Encounter at Farpoint.
Yeah.
I thought it did a really interesting way of explaining the crew to someone.
Yeah. Yeah,
and I thought,
and also explaining the thesis statement of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah, and like, I don't know if it was a good episode, if that makes sense. If you were going to, you know, analyze it as a standalone thing, kind of thing. But I think for kind of a how to introduce characters where you think you already know them but you don't.
Yeah, to a certain extent. There is no good way of doing an exposition dump. But sometimes you need an exposition dump to get the audience up to speed.
Yeah.
And Encounter at Farpoint, which was the Star Trek Next Generation pilot episode, that was just an exposition dump of what this TV show is going to be about.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah. It took them 3 seasons to get going and learn how to act. I think 3 seasons might be a bit harsh. 1 or 2 seasons, definitely. It was the first 1 or 2 seasons, they were definitely still trying to figure out what they were doing. They had ideas, but there was still a lot of... the first 1 or 2 seasons of Next Generation still had a lot of original series tropes in, like go to alien planet and there's a monster kind of thing, which is very original series-esque. And then after a while, they kind of realized that they didn't necessarily have to do that. It was going to be more of a social thing than monster on alien planet thing.
Yeah, and I think adding in Ken Forward and Garner. No? Yes.
Yeah, Garner. Yep.
Was very good.
Yes. Ooh, I nearly dropped it. I picked it up and the top bit started slipping, and I was like, "Oh, that was about to go bang," and then it didn't, and it was very tense for a moment. The most exciting thing that's happened on this podcast. All right.
So yeah.
Riker and Diana were horrid for 3 seasons. I don't think Diana was ever good. Hot take. I don't like Diana's character. No, wait. Diana. Yeah, Diana Troy. Yeah. Counselor Diana Troy. Yeah. Hot take. I don't like Diana Troy. She had 1 or 2 good moments, sure, but so much of her was just like, I'm sensing that they're being distrustful kind of thing. And it was just a way of getting the Enterprise crew information that they otherwise couldn't possibly know.
Yeah, I think they did do a good job later on, making some of it seem a lot more relevant.
Yeah,
because they made her kind of the effectively the relationship manager for diplomatic encounters, and kind of bringing the rest of the crew up to speed on like what the protocols and stuff were. So like they developed that a lot more later, which I think made the character make an awful lot more sense.
Yeah.
But, like, them being bridge crew and so on made zero goddamn sense at any point ever.
Yeah.
Them being a character that rotated in and out, you know, it's like, oh, this episode we're having a diplomatic meeting of blah, blah, blah race. Sure, rotate them into the bridge crew kind of thing.
Yeah, having her sit in an officer's chair, kind of weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. DS9 was a better show. I still haven't sat down and watched DS9. I watched some episodes as a kid when it was on TV the first time around, but I've never sat down and watched it as an adult.
Better show.
And also, I haven't seen Voyager. I need to sit down and watch DS9 and or Voyager at some point.
Take this cheese to sickbay.
Take this cheese to sickbay. Is that a real quote? Oh, Guinan, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was it.
There's coffee in that nebula. Voyager had issues that I think were weirdly thrust upon it by lots of real life circumstances around it, and there was
like studio meddling kind of thing.
No, not so. Partially, the literal U.S. presidential election. But yeah, just real world events caused it odd issues.
Yeah.
And caused it some
these cables.
And also just the way that Janeway has been was written for some of the stuff.
Yeah.
She's just a murdering psychopath.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
kind
a shame.
Of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh.
Because I
okay.
Yeah, because my understanding was that she was always one of the absolutely outstanding characters. You know, the legendary Captain Janeway kind of thing.
Yes.
I take it she has some less than proud moments, though.
But also just kind of, what is this writing?
Yeah.
That it's difficult. There are some delightful moments in there.
Yeah.
Like with the just kind of, you know, making kind of the humorous ribbing comment to someone and kind of just being like, you know, after sifting through vast quantities of data and relying on a spy network, I have discovered that.
Yeah.
Turns around with birthday cake. It's your birthday. And kind of just the setup for that moment was nicely done to show a great connection between the two characters.
Yeah.
And so on. Because it was actually a really weirdly off-the-wall kind of setup for the captain of the ship and first security officer interaction, but also it's entirely expected interaction for people and actual characters living a real life. So yeah, it was just kind of things like that. Yeah. Yes, also the fact that Voyager functionally fixed almost all of its supply issues in like the first season and then never mentioned the fact that they were basically isolated ever again.
Oh, I thought that was kind of the whole point. Yeah.
It was. And then it wasn't because they realised that made writing hard.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But then on the other hand, though, you know, you've got a ship that is isolated. They have to get home at some point? Question mark, question mark?
Yeah, sure. No, of course they do. But just, you know, being kind of 6 or 7 episodes in and then suddenly randomly being like, oh yeah, no, there are no supply constraints anymore.
Oh, okay.
We have everything. We have unlimited power.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Like that. Yeah, that if the main jeopardy of the crew has been solved, then what's left kind of thing, because that's kind of the thing in Fireflies, because Firefly is a bunch of space bounty hunters who are doing, you know, they're doing
bounty.
Space bounty, space piracy, you know, they're just trying to get by as freelancers kind of thing. and it's a lot like, it's the same deal as in Cowboy Bebop. You know, they now and then they'll get small victories, but they never win. They never get the big score that leaves them comfortably sorted, kind of thing. There's always the perpetual struggle. You know, their big payday always gets away, but they always get away with just enough to keep going, kind of thing. You know, that's kind of what Voyager needs, where they're always finding another breadcrumb to get out of the Delta Quadrant or wherever it is there is, but they never quite get the whole way, you know.
Yeah, the Voyager kind of premise was...
I'm nearly done with this, and then we'll stop talking about this, I promise.
Was just, yeah, I think kind of slightly difficult for them to write through, because they kind of had this idea and then suddenly went, oh shit, it's a greenlit program.
Yeah, they had a concept, but they didn't necessarily have X many seasons to keep it going. But then, like I say, you don't have to have a beginning, middle, and end for the supply issue. You know, like I say, you know, Cowboy Bebop, which is an anime, but it's still the same kind of deal as people struggling to get by, and Firefly, they both did the same thing, and they both managed to solve this problem with the characters always surviving, but never getting the big payoff that got them out of their core dilemma.
I think it being a thing where just like at the end of the first season they solved it would have been entirely acceptable, because that would have been them in space for X number of months and kind of them solving the majority of the supply issue.
Yeah.
But it being a thing that keeps popping up is a recurring thing of like, oh God, we hadn't considered how hard replicating X would be.
Yeah.
For some reason, each one we keep replicating, we're getting generational degradation.
Yes.
But this isn't how it works at home. Why is it different out here?
Yeah,
and then they find insert technobabble radiation.
Yeah.
Is affecting it, kind of thing.
It feels like there are plenty of solutions to this problem that somehow none of the writers thought of.
Or it just wasn't deemed to be relevant.
Yeah.
I'm sure it got thought of, but just wasn't deemed to be relevant or beneficial to the story that was written.
Yeah, or maybe they just didn't think that's what it was about.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have spent about an hour talking about TV shows now, I think. So. Yeah, I know. I'm just for anyone who doesn't care about this, I apologise. However, I'm enjoying this conversation, so I hope you guys are as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, a couple of people are pointing out how it's very unfortunate that Voyager and DS9 was recorded on tape as well, wasn't it?
I don't know what it was recorded on, but I know what it was mastered on and edited on was just functionally VHS tape.
Yeah. So no high qualities of it, unfortunately, which is a bummer.
Yeah, and it's even worse for Stargate, because Stargate was recorded on...
was it on 35mm or something awful like that?
No. Well, that would have been good if it was done on 35mm.
Oh, 16mm.
It was done on side-scanned 16mm, which means that you actually only get half frame.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Because Stargate, until something like season 5... Season 6 basically had the budget of no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess at the time they never knew what the actual impact of these films would be, you know. I mean, Next Generation was coming in as the big Star Trek series to follow on from the original series, which was already a cult hit.
But it was also the fact of it was old enough.
Oh, really?
Because obviously VHS tape didn't exist in editing booths until the early 90s.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Fair. I'm surprised at that. I thought it was around. I thought that was possible in the 80s.
Yeah, but it didn't
80s,
arrive in TV editing booths as just a matter of course industry standard way of doing it.
Yeah.
Until the early 90s, whereas TNG started obviously in the late 80s.
Yeah.
So they'd already established a workflow for film.
Yeah.
So they never transitioned off of film because they had a workflow, they had a procedure, they had a supply chain, etc., etc. And you'd have to completely remake that halfway through a show.
Yeah.
And now the visual style would be different. And, well, how do you explain everything looking different?
Yeah.
Or do you just keep doing it the same? You just keep doing it the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
16mm Stargate for the first season or two. After that, it was better, apparently. Yeah.
But yeah, it was also the fact of it wasn't just full frame 16. Then it was side scan 16mm.
Yeah.
Where
Either way,
where you place two frames inside the space of a standard frame.
Oof, yeah. Either way, that means it's a tough start.
It means that the
like
film
I've never
quality at the beginning is
garbo.
It's absolutely fine for standard def broadcast, but you cannot do an HD rescan of it.
Yeah, yeah. Because like I've never watched Stargate, so it just means that like if I wanted to sit down and start watching Stargate for that first season, I'm going to be like, oof, wow, this is showing its age. You know?
Yeah, it looks absolutely fine for 576i TV, but it's not capable of being HD TV.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's more the point.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've not seen any of the TNG rescans, have you?
I don't think the rescans. No. Like at some point when I sat down and watched through all of TNG, this would have been like 2012, 2013. I had whatever you gave me, I think, which was probably just whatever the DVD 1080p release or something would have been.
Yeah,
I would
just
imagine.
The standard. Possibly the standard DVD release.
Yeah.
I don't recall.
Yeah.
But yeah, the increasing quality on the Blu-rays is wild. Yeah, is absolutely wild. It's still I still need to sit and play around with it a bit, but I was starting to look at like handbrake denoising profiles and stuff.
Yeah.
Through it. Just kind of trying to learn what stuff did.
Yeah. Is that worth doing though, or do you risk just smoothing everything over until it looks too digitally smoothed, kind of thing?
I don't know because I never found anything that seemed to actually do anything at all.
Oh, I see. Yeah, the output file just looks the same as the input every time.
Yeah, and it's like this technique takes 1.5 seconds per frame.
Oh, ouch.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so I'm rendering it, an hour per minute.
Yeah.
And it's like, fine, look at, render out 1 minute's worth of video kind of thing. Or like, 30 seconds worth of video. And it's like, okay, but I can't actually tell that you've done anything.
Yeah.
I can't.
If I can't see the difference, I'm not sitting around for 10,000 hours to do the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, I don't entirely know what's going on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, something in kind of the pipeline just was not doing anything and was slow.
Just in advance, anyone who's going, pigtailed PCI Express cables. This graphics card is like, I don't know, 250 watts. It's fine.
What is it again that you got? Did you get a 6700?
It's a 6700 XT, yeah. So it's like 250 watts. It's fine.
It's a nice little card. I'm every now and then having a look to see if I can find the 6900 with that cooler. The reference one.
Team Rocket cards. All right, let's power this on and laugh at the fact that this CPU cooler isn't going to be good enough.
It'll be fine. It's an AMD CPU.
Yeah, but it's a 5800X.
Yeah.
Have you dailied a 5800X? Like not an X3D, an X non-3D. Yeah, it's a dumb CPU. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just stupid.
No, I did daily a 5950X that I'd locked off the voltage at like 1.44.
Yeah, but you were running the freezer on that. Yeah. you ran the freezer on that until the board eventually broke down from liquid damage, and then you just RMA'd the board. So
no, I gave it the brushy.
Did it survive that?
Then
board?
RMA'd the board.
Okay. Well then.
You've got to hide your crimes.
Right, I'm gonna quickly hook up capture for this, just so
Have
we
you
can.
found the USB cables for the XR1 yet?
No. Next question.
Are you going to use the cam link?
Yes. Yes. Cheese. It doesn't reach.
Also, the cam link doesn't go into the monitor. The cam link goes into the graphics card.
I'm tired, Caradog.
That's why I'm helping you out. It's on top of the light. Turn around.
All right. Keyboard. What happened to the keyboard?
I don't know.
Ah, it's over here. Up, 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 up. Okay. Bang. Maybe if I push it some more, it'll turn on. Okay.
Ah! That's not a resolution.
Right, the power is plugged in. Oh my god, I should have tested at least some of these components before building this thing up. ATX is plugged in. Oh, power switch and reset switch are the wrong way around. I don't know how I managed that. I distinctly remember noticing, oh, those are the wrong way around in my hand. I need to make sure I put them the right way around.
Oh, well.
We like the easy ones.
Yes.
All right. Okay, need to turn the power supply back on. Ah. Okay.
Wah!
Right. There's still an LED strip in there, so there's still a little bit of lighting, but I'll probably take that out just because the LED strip is kind of yellowed, like it's sun damaged kind of thing, and it just looks grotty. So yeah, I'll probably take it out. The colour is fine from it. It just doesn't look very nice when it's off.
To do a transition.
Yeah, have we got any diagnostic LEDs on this motherboard? What the hell?
What?
It's a B550 with Wi-Fi 6, no diagnostic LEDs.
Oh, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
For no apparent
You can afford
reason.
to put the quick fit Wi-Fi connector on because you need to quick fit your Wi-Fi antenna, but you couldn't put diagnostic LEDs on it. At the middle behind the GPU. Oh. So what the hell is that? There is a component that looks like it's hanging off the board. Is that just a ferrite bead? I think that's a ferrite bead, it's fine. And now I do not see any diagnostic LEDs on this thing. Oh, there we go. It's a capture issue. New CPU installed. Cool. Okay. Why to reset FTM?
You don't need that inductor, just remove it.
No inductor, no problem. I don't know why I did that. It was a zing moment. Check for new BIOS. Yeah, I shall do that while we're here, because that's always fun. Although, I think we'll just fire it up and just what's the timer on? 2:12. Yeah.
Have you inserted any sort of bootable media?
No. Yeah, let's BIOS update it. Where's that flash drive? Yeah, it's on the. Hang on a sec. Do you want to look up a BIOS, and I shall put this hither.
What is this? This is a B550. Whoops.
Yeah. B550 Eagle Wi-Fi 6.
Eagle. Whoops. Oh my god.
Actually, bottom right for QLED. No, I don't see it anywhere. Hard to tell because there's nothing lit up at the moment. Well, no, you'd have a boot light at the moment, but...
Support. There are two BIOS. There's 2C.
What a weird motherboard. F1 and F2C. Just because it's a... This motherboard was made in, like, 2024.
Please press enter. It's on F1.
Yeah.
Very well. Receive the BIOS.
Let me know when I can pull it out. The flash drive, that is.
You may now remove the flash drive.
Okay.
No.
Right. I'm going to... Is that F2 for advanced mode? Yeah. Can you remove our face for a sec, just so I can see?
It's F8.
F8, yeah. Thank you. Okay. Update BIOS. That one. Are you sure we want to update BIOS? Yes.
Wee.
Pick a corner, Caradoc.
I refuse.
Alright, off it goes.
It's Sunday, 27th April, 2025.
This Sunday. You gonna try games? No. Only because I don't think we've got anything downloaded. We'll do the obligatory. We'll do an obligatory Cinebench run and superposition run, just to check the graphics card and the CPU. The superposition run should do absolutely fine, because we know the card. I've got Ghost Spectre drive over here. I think they're both over here from last time. So yeah, superposition should be fine because we tested the graphics card in the last stream. However, the Cinebench run will probably fall over because it doesn't have enough cooling. But that will be interesting to look at. So yeah.
Try putting both of them in there, 'cause there might be Steam set up.
Sure. Fair enough. Can you fix the power cable for the graphics card going through a better hole? I could.
There is here.
Yeah, I could. I might do that.
Oh, there is also that one there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I might. Yeah, I'll put it through. I'll put it through that front one. Yeah, I didn't spot that one there. A lot of new cases don't bother with that one anymore. Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, but yes, we'll do some basic benchmarks first. Right. We'll let it hit BIOS and just confirm that it has indeed updated.
Ah, that's the wrong one. Give me the capture.
It might still be RAM training. Maybe. Now the stream really became interactive. I mean, also it doesn't matter.
There we go.
Aha. Operating system. Okay, fine. Well, Control delete. Control delete. Press any key to restart. Huh. Oh, it is not responsive. Fine, I'll push the reset button. Also, I can hear that CPU fan ramping up already, so that's not a good sign. I'm losing faith in this keyboard. Did we put new batteries in this? No, we put possibly not charged batteries in, and then I didn't charge them, because I'm a genius.
I'm not going to say it, but...
Yeah. I'm going to get another keyboard.
But could we have some equipment that works?
We've ordered equipment. We did it at the start of the stream. Some better equipment is on the way. Also, as a treat, I'll actually charge the AA batteries tonight. It's not doing anything at the moment. I have some concerns. I don't know what this thing's actually doing or not doing. Oh, there we go. It responded straight away to this keyboard. Fine. Cool. Right. BIOS version, system info, BIOS version, F2C. Good. Right. Yes. BIOS update successful. Cool. Right. Let's turn it off. Put the M.2 drives in, and then we can make it do interesting things.
I'm also going to consider the possibility of committing crimes.
Crimes, you say? Whoop.
Ah, no. There are no crimes here.
Yeah,
I was wondering if we could avoid the capture issue just by using this screen.
Oh, right, yeah. We need to get a bench cam.
Well, no.
For that, but
because...
it's big enough that people can see it from here.
Well, no, not that, because... The other one, the one that doesn't have the Ethernet on it, has dual DisplayPort and HDMI, and you can input the DisplayPort and then output the HDMI.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Caradog just randomly acquired a 4K monitor and was just like, I have this now. As you do. But we don't know what we're going to do with it yet, so it kind of just exists now. Hup, bam, bam.
Oop.
All right. Professionals. Lipo battery, everything. Yeah, it's kind of not necessary to an extent. Like it's causing an issue here, but like the batteries in these keyboards require replacing like every 2 years, so it's just not worth it. Just the annoying thing is, for some reason or other, I just don't actually have any AA batteries in the shop, and I don't know why. I think I've just stolen them at some point and I need to just order a box more and I forgot. Probably another thing that I should do.
Oh, I can't get it to...
I was going to say, I don't think you're going to win that fight.
No, well, I was just trying to get it to be 1080p and not 4K. Because obviously it's a 4K capture card.
Yeah, I mean, I can just set the output on the PC to 1080p. Display settings. Resolution. 1080. Bam. Keep changes. All right, and display scaling. I can't see past the thing. What's the shortcut key to turn off the thing?
Alt R?
Alt R? No. Oh, right.
Oh yeah, there. If you go performance.
Performance.
And then it's about here.
Smart logging?
Overlay.
Oh, there we go. Stop logging. Oh no, I don't. No, start logging. Overlay off. Okay, there we go. We've saved some performance logs. Cool. Right. Okay. Now let's just fix this scaling. Right. Display. Scale. Can you? Oh my God. We're nearly there. Can you turn our face off for a sec? There we go. Right. 125. Okay. Right. Now we can see what we're doing. Phew. There we go. And you can try and put us up to 60 FPS if you so desire now.
Ah! I accidentally a full screen instead of a window.
Window projector, yeah. Okay, right. Let's do... It's taking me ages to find anything because Caradog is moving things around at the moment, so my eyes have to keep resetting and finding where I am. Where's hardware info? Oh, it'll be under Benchmate, won't it?
It's in the overclocking folder.
Ah.
And then that one.
And
then that one.
Right, we don't need you, Benchmate. Right, snap to right. Snap to right. Windows right. Okay, there we go. Fine. Okay, right, there's our CPU temperature. So, we've got 35 to 53. Okay, yeah, that's doesn't look too bad right now. I think just the fan is just a little bit flighty. So let's hit it with Cinebench. Cinebench R23.
Yeah.
Accept. All right, let's advanced. Minimum test duration 10 minutes. CPU multi-core. All right, so let's watch this CPU temperature and just see if that goes absolutely wild or not. Oof. Yeah, that's 80 degrees already. This is 80 degrees, and I mean, I guess it's been on for a short amount of time, so there's a little bit of heat in the heatsink, but yeah, we are losing boost clocks at this point. So CPU is pushing 115 watts, 116, and there's thermal throttle. Yeah, no, that cooler won't cut it. It's probably okay in games. However, if your CPU cooler can't get through Cinebench, then it's no bueno. Like, Cinebench isn't even a torture test. You know, like, if we hit this over the head with something like SuperPi or Y-Cruncher, this would be pushing 125 watts. So, yeah, if it can't get through Cinebench, it's no good. So, yeah, in a surprise to no one, that cooler is no bueno. I'm just going to stop that. But there you go. There's a demonstration of that. Cooler is too small. The total wattage output is too high, and it's at too small a point. But interestingly, if we hit it over the head with superposition is very...
Reset the clock first.
Reset that clock.
There you go.
If we hit it with superposition, Let's go 1080p extreme. It'll be completely fine with this because superposition is a pure GPU benchmark. Oh, can you just check that the capture card isn't unmuted?
Shouldn't be.
Yeah, it is muted. Good. Yeah. So yeah, can I tab into? No, you can't tab out of superposition, which is kind of annoying.
So we can hopefully read some of those numbers.
Yeah, I don't think it shows us CPU temperature, which is a shame.
56. Okay.
Yeah,
that's not awful.
Yeah, we did this. We did this on the last stream, and I think it scored like 6,700 or something like that. And we were like, yeah, that's about expected, you know.
Yeah.
So yes, but yeah, we'll quickly let it cycle through this, and then we can look at that number and be like, aha, see how that has not affected the CPU.
Yes.
And then I think, I mean, I guess what's the clock on? Yeah, past. Yeah, I guess we could start up a game and show the mixed gaming load, and again demonstrate that in game that CPU cooler will hack it, because there's an interesting conversation that, like, if you're desperate and this is all you've got, it's good enough for gaming, but it shows the various loads you get, and this is the reason why OEMs get away with using undersized coolers, because in most real life workloads it's fine, but the problem is like, if you started doing video transcoding on CPU, or you started doing an export from a video editor where it's going to actually 100% the CPU for 20 minutes, it's going to fall apart, you know. What else were we going to do while we were here? I think that was everything, wasn't it?
Basically.
Yeah.
Ink.
It
was just a position. It's just a bottle of ink. It's just.
Oh, I see.
Ink.
Yes. What kind of warranty do you have for that poor CPU? Perhaps stops overheating it. It's 85 degrees. It's fine. Like, don't get me wrong. It's thermal throttling, but like we're not killing the CPU. It's fine. Yeah, like when you start pushing it over 100, it's just like, okay, stop. Yeah, it's no bueno. But yeah, you've got to run it for days or weeks on thermal throttle for it to maybe start becoming an issue. Once or twice for demonstration purposes. Thanks, capture card. Can you
well then,
can you reinitialize the capture card?
No. Yes.
Yeah, like once or twice doesn't mean anything. Okay, cool. Right, what did our CPU get to during that?
64.6.
Yeah, there you go. See, on superposition, we only got to 64, and most of that was probably on the loading screen.
Yeah,
but yeah, the superposition is a really strong example of a 100% GPU bottleneck situation where it just does not care what CPU you have. So yeah, any interesting games on here?
I don't know.
Deep Rock was on there, or well, is there a Steam install? Oh, there will be if Deep Rock is there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've got.
Oh, it's got my it's got my stuff there.
No, I think this is in a mixed state where there's a bunch of stuff in places, and I would rather not go exploring on stream.
That's fair.
Because I don't know what.
Yeah, it's all just Steam library stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also, though, I don't think there's much more to learn here. You know, we've shown a CPU bottleneck scenario and a GPU bottleneck scenario. We've established that the cooler is not big enough. So so yeah. I don't think there's much more to learn here. However, the computer is built. I'll put a different cooler on it, and that will be a nice system. like I said, I think I'm going to pull out that LED strip because it just looks kind of grotty, and I think I'm going to sell this as a non-RGB system. I've moved the fan to the front, so it's got 2 intake fans. Yeah, once all the side panels are on and stuff like that, it'll have enough ventilation through there. You could add more fans in if you wanted, but it doesn't need them. So yeah. What's up, Tall? We're all right. So yeah. Yeah, there you go. And just, again, it's looking for 90 degrees. Give that a couple more cycles of heat soak and that'll hit 90.
It's also just interesting that this still boosts reasonably hard.
4.4? No. That's really down on boost. I mean, it's not collapsing, but like this chip can do this. I mean, with a bit of curve optimizer, this chip can do 4.7 all core, and in a ho-hum scenario, it'll do 4.6 all core. So 4.4 all core is I'm thermal throttling.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. Even with the thermal throttling.
Yeah, I guess it's not
4.4. It's just
it's not exact. It's not exactly
still pushing really quite hard, given what cooling is on it.
It's not exactly collapsing to 2 gigahertz, is it?
Yeah.
So yeah,
it was just surprising.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
It was also surprising that it dropped clocks but kept the voltage much the same.
Yeah, but yeah. Also, though, I think if you kept that going long term, I think you will cook the chip. So. I think you're asking for trouble for that. But yeah, again, once or twice doesn't matter. Cool. All right. Well, I'm glad that all works. I've finally got this heckin' computer built up. I've got to decide how much to sell it for now, after I put a cooler on it.
Yeah, it's probably about $650.
Yeah, I need to check how much I've spent on it total.
Something like that, yeah, $650, $670, something in that order.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's I think there's no planet where I can lose money on this because the case is quote unquote free. The CPU is worth money, but also it's one of my old chips, so it doesn't owe me anything. And the power supply doesn't owe me anything either. I've got to put an SSD in it as well. So yeah, I need to tot up some money, but. Yeah. I think I'd probably put it out at 700. Because like a 6700 XT is not too shabby. Yeah, I think there's got to be 700 quid in that. Let me see. I'm going to do some napkin math super quickly. So let's see. Calculator. So I can't remember how much I paid for the 6700. Could you... actually, I'll just do it in front of me. Let me just pull up eBay on my phone a sec and just see how much I paid for that graphics card because I can't remember. Oh, E. Wow, I can't read. eBay, there it is. Purchase history. Purchases. So, there we go. 250 quid. So we paid 250 quid for the graphics card. The motherboard, oh damn. The motherboard again was quote unquote free. I must have paid, hang on a sec, I'll pull up I need to pull up Amazon.com for that one, which I don't have on my phone. Oh, there's no keyboard over here. Someone stole it. And it was me. I want to actually price this up. And Caradog, for funsies, do you want to just pull up Amazon and we just find a cooler for this, just so we can actually like bring this around full circle? I think that would be I think that's a nice finisher, just to get the last couple of bits and just be like, there we go. That's what we're going to buy to finish this thing off. You know?
Yes.
Returns and orders. There we go. Right. The motherboard was $120. I probably paid a bit more for that in shipping, but I'm not going to bother counting that because again, it was quote unquote free. So I'm going to call that I'm going to call that £100 for the motherboard. So plus 100. I'll stick a 1 terabyte SSD in there. That's going to cost what? 50 quid. I'll call it 60 for safety. 60 quid. Power supply. What have you done?
I just locked the voltage to 1.28.
We're only boosting to 3.9 now though.
It's just like, okay. I was just like, if I just round the volts down ever so slightly, it's just like, okay.
Let's see. So yeah, 60 quid for a SSD. The power supply, I'll call that 50 quid. Got the graphics card. RAM, I'll call that 30 quid because it's some pretty mid RAM in there. What else do I need? Oh yeah, CPU. CPU. 5800X, 100 quid?
Yeah, probably saying around that. Probably a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll call it 100. I'll call it 100. 100 quid for a 5800X. I think free means already paid for from last build. Yeah, just stuff that I have basically absorbed the cost of, or stuff that where it has been written off. It is not something that quote unquote owes me money. Like this power supply is just is a second hand one from one of my old builds. It doesn't owe me anything. So I'm gonna give it some value, but because I'm in business to make money. But yeah, it doesn't owe me anything per se. Right, and then yeah, the case, I'm just not going to bother counting the case because already we're pushing up. We're at £590 at the moment. So if we stick on a cooler for, I don't know, 20 quid. So yeah, Peerless Assassin is 26 quid.
Yeah, the Peerless Assassin with 2 fans is 26 quid.
Yeah. What's the ID cooling one that Mike's quoting for?
Oh,
is that on Amazon?
214XT.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's the search box there.
Yeah. Something that I can buy from Amazon would be nice because I'm lazy.
Probably.
Hey, RGB fan? No, I'm not putting RGB in this because I have to buy more stuff for it, and I don't want to buy more stuff. The purpose of this computer is me trying to use up my AM4 stuff. I'm trying. This is a clearance computer. I'm trying to get rid of these components. I don't want to buy more stuff for it. So yeah, and like as soon as I add in some RGB fans, it's just like, okay, we need an RGB fans. It's gonna need. Well, I guess the motherboard's got an RGB controller, but it's just not going to look particularly good with no other RGB stuff in it, in my opinion. I think it will look nicer without in this instance. So yeah. Oh yeah, that looks all right. 20 quid.
Yeah, it's this. The only problem I've got with it is the fans are the shiny black plastic ones, and the cooler, at least the 2 ID coolings I've touched, both cut my fingers up.
Ugh.
So it's just kind of,
Yeah.
It's fine, but it's also, I'd want it for less money than that.
Yeah. For another 6 quid, you get the Peerless Assassin, which cools basically anything.
Because it's a case that I can get that doesn't cut your fingers up for 15 quid.
Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah. How much is the what's that one called again? The Assassin X.
That's the Assassin
How
X
much is
120.
the what was the other other
Spirit, the Spirit 120.
Yeah. Yeah. How much is the Spirit Assassin 120 V2?
Is like 18 quid.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's cheaper, and that's genuinely a nice cooler. That's the same one that I fitted to that Corsair build, and yeah, that'll hack a 5800X. Obvious question: can you find a white one? Maybe. It doesn't need to be a white one for this one, but that would be cool if it's available in white.
Yeah, it is. 2 secs.
Yeah.
Let me find it.
Just Amazon search it.
It's only because some of the white ones don't come up on the Amazon search.
Yeah, but also I'll buy what Amazon has in stock. If
Yeah,
Amazon
but they have it on Amazon, but it doesn't come up on the Amazon search.
Oh, I see.
So you have to select the link through here to actually get the thing to come up.
Oh, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
That's whack.
I've found the Amazon search be really weirdly dicky for a couple of the Thermalright products.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a Peerless Assassin in white for 22 quid. Or you can get the Assassin Spirit in white.
Yeah, can you bring up the Amazon links for those? Just
I think that was the cheaper one. Yeah. Oh yeah.
it's 26. Yeah.
Friggin' weird pricing as well.
Yeah. This is why I want to actually open links. Like I get using PC Part Picker to get a generalized view, but I always view that as a guide price rather than the actual price.
Yeah, it's also just the Amazon prices make no friggin' sense for any of these.
Yeah.
Let's see if the search is going to work today for it. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Now it actually exists in search.
Yeah. I'm not saying you're wrong. This is why I always just bash it into Amazon first. Yeah, cool. Have they got any colours available there? You scroll. Is it if you no, fine. If you scroll up to the top and just search for like Thermalright Assassin, or just Thermalright. Let's just have a look at what Amazon have in the Thermalright category.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I couldn't remember what we were on.
Oh right, yeah.
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, if you just see.
Yeah, I quite like these.
The Phantom Spirit looks cool. Yeah, it's £41 though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I just quite like this idea of RGB but very subtle.
Yeah.
I just quite like it as an idea, but I'm also just like, sure, but if you're going to sell that to me for £25, then yes.
If RGB is go big or go home, in my opinion, but yeah. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, it's all expensive. No. We're looking for an improvement over what we've seen, to be honest, and no, scroll up. No.
What? Hold on.
Mjolnir Vision.
It's got a fucking screen on it and it's £99.
That's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Screw you, Corsair, with your £4,000 AIO.
Yeah, there's no excuse for it. Yeah, Corsair's prices are whack. It's why I don't buy them. No, keep going. Yeah, I'm going past all of it. Here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're down to the sub £20 stuff. This is what we're looking for. So yeah, we're looking at something with dual fans on it for less than £20 in white is what I'm looking for. Okay. No, I don't think they've got it in white. So no, I think we're going to end up with the grey one again.
Bad. It being only £8 for the fan.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of interested in the existence of this.
The Assassin X120R, yeah.
Because it's got an actual display on the top.
Oh yeah,
that's
kind of neat. Yeah,
and it's £22.
Yeah,
that's why I'm interested in it, because it's a £22 product with a screen in.
I'd look at it. I think those displays look a bit too digital to me. If it was an OLED, I'd be interested, but yeah, just a 7-segment LED, I think is going to look a bit dorky. Yeah. We'll just check this page. If we don't find it on this page, then we're not going to see anything more interesting than what we were looking at. Keep going.
Oh, they make little low-profile ones as well.
Do you just want to scroll up a little bit? Oh, down a bit. The Assassin X120R SE. Do you just want to open that in a new tab and see if they've got it in white? No colour options there. There we go. What's that?
You've got the...
Oh, that's the single fan version.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the single fan version. So no, I want a dual fan cooler for this. So yeah, no, it's going to be the it's going to be the The Assassin Spirit V2, which was on the previous page, I think.
Be gone. Be gone. Be gone.
Yeah,
that's fine. I thought I'd open the tab.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so if you
none of them.
go back and find that one again. And it'll be in grey, which is a shame, but it'll do.
What? There's also a £50 version of the Peerless Assassin? Okay.
Invalid price, who cares?
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Nope.
Previous page, page 2, yeah. Yeah, there we go. That one.
Assassin's Spirit one.
Yeah, add to basket.
There you go.
Yeah, done. Problem solved.
I will just search.
And do you want to find just a 1 terabyte SSD as well?
I will do a search for white. Yeah, you're talking £35 for it in white or 16 in grey.
Yeah. Yeah, like don't get me wrong, it would be nice to colour match, but I'm not paying £30 to colour match.
Oh.
Mike says he sent me a link. I'll have a look.
1 terabyte.
Oh yeah. So Mike's just sent me a link to the Assassin's Spirit 120 Vision that does actually have a little OLED screen on it. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
Neat.
So yeah, and that is that's £25. So yeah, not going to buy that one for this particular build, but that's cool. It's got an RGB fan on it as well, which is neat. Yeah, I'm not buying that for this one, but that it's cool that that exists. That's a very funky cooler. That's a really, if this had like if this had some RGB case fans, I would buy that cooler. It would be worth doing. But yeah. $120 only. Yeah, 120mm is still completely relevant. 140mm fan coolers are big, and you start running into clearance problems with them. But like, you don't need 140mm fans on your CPU cooler. It's just not necessary. So yeah. Right, yeah, and a 1 terabyte SSD. So probably a Kioxia, I would imagine.
Yeah, your cheapest that you've ever heard of is these two ThickWatts.
I would like to put. Yeah, I haven't tested the other ThickWatts. Like we did okay with that other one, but still don't know how much I trust them. Not when a Kioxia will just be like £45. Job done, you know.
Is it?
1 terabyte. Yeah. What happened, Kioxia? Maybe they're not in stock at the moment. Oh, there's an FN501 Pro. Do you want to open that in another tab, because that's the ThickWatt that we like, and then just go back to the listings and just check if that Kioxia is available. Yeah, the Crucial P3 is up at like £64. That's not great. 1 terabyte is now £40. If you buy a no-name brand one, yeah. But I want to buy a brand that I actually trust. Yeah, like the WD Green is 45 quid, and that's going to be terrible. Yeah, SSDs aren't great at the moment. I'm not seeing anything really inspirational there. I think the ThickWatt at £45 is going to be the way. Kioxia have only got expensive ones. Yeah, no, there's nothing inspirational here. Yeah, stick the ThickWatt in the basket.
No, okay, fine. I was just wondering if we ended up in a weird situation where, like,
a 2 terabyte one for £60 or something like that. Yeah.
Or like £70 for the 2 terabyte one. You're just like, okay.
Yeah.
for £4, I will grab the 2 terabyte
Yeah,
version.
and then like I'll use that in one of my computers and shuffle a 1 terabyte from one of mine into this one or something like that. But no,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Add to basket.
Cool. Proceed to checkout, buy it,
Anything
send
else?
it, ship it.
Would you like some boxer briefs with anti-chafing technology?
I swear, you look at things once and Amazon keeps saying, are you sure you don't want to buy these boxer briefs? I'm like, look, I just wanted to see what you had available.
That's why you browse in incognito.
Yeah.
And then you sign in a different browser and you copy paste only the item ID into Amazon.
But then also,
like,
I bought a toilet seat one time because I wanted to get a new toilet seat for the bathroom, and it keeps putting in my recommendeds. And I'm like, Amazon, I've already bought the new toilet seat. I don't need to buy another one.
That's good. 45 quid because there's a discount with Prime, apparently.
Grand. Cool. Buy now.
Anything else?
No.
Good.
I'll get it another
one?
time. Yeah, that's fine. Buy now. Get it on its way. It's done. We're finished. Done. Don't overthink it. Done and done.
Oh my god. There's yet more of the friggin' Cooler Master Hybrid 212s.
There's so many different versions of that cooler. Don't get me wrong, it was a king of its day, but also the problem is Thermalright have drunk their milkshake something fierce.
Yeah.
Because I could buy a Cooler Master Hyper 212 for £22, or I could pay another £4 more and have a Peerless Assassin that can cool 180 watts.
Yeah.
It's just no. Cooler Master, if you want to sell the Hyper 212, that has to cost £20 or less now. Thermalright have drunk your milkshake. It is gone, man. I need a new toilet seat. Can you post a link, please? No.
The Liquid Freezer 3 Pro is pulled the Liquid Freezer price back down, it seems. Because it had started drifting up quite a lot. When I looked for my one for the PC we built a couple of weeks ago, the 360 or the 240, I can't remember which one it was, had drifted to 130 or 140 pound.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not devastating, but also that's awful.
Yeah.
Arctic, what happened?
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like the pros kind of re-anchored the pricing on a lot of stuff.
Good.
So yes.
All right. Right, what's our stream timer on?
It is on 2:55.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's about time for us to start wrapping up, I think. I have enjoyed this conversation in English.
We have done it.
Yeah.
We did
Third
it, chat.
unlisted YouTube channel. Let's fix toilets. No. All right. So we've got a couple more bits to arrive for this thing. Do you need a? You're going to take away your PC, I assume, aren't you?
Yeah.
Buy stuff of your own. Yeah, I will.
Yeah, I've got everything I need for that. I just left it at home by accident.
Yeah, I'll put this dinky little deep cool back in the box, and I'll save that for at some point. They'll get used up at some point. Someone will come in with a CPU that's got a broken cooler or just the wrong cooler on it, and it'll do fine for that. But yeah, I'm satisfied with that. Yeah,
I have been satisfied.
Yes, cool. And yeah, I think that's a nice looking computer.
What was that called again? Deep Cool. What was it? Where's the box gone?
The box is here.
Oh,
This is
the
AG200.
AG200.
Yeah. Didn't you buy these for £7 or something like that at some point?
I don't remember. Oh, it's not in my search history.
No, I mean these have been sitting in the window for God knows how long. Jeff Bezos fulfilled.
Yeah, but where did I buy it from then? Because it's not in my Gmail. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, when did I buy you? How did I buy you?
Maybe you didn't. Maybe I bought it. Maybe you just sent me the links and said you should buy these so you have coolers.
Yeah. My God. You did it. It has been DRGB'd.
Almost.
Oh,
Anyway.
do you now have a working shower
No.
after your explosion?
No. However, it's booked in to be done. But the problem is, I had to find a booking when both a plumber and myself were available on a Monday, because I don't want strangers going into my flat when I'm not there.
Understandable.
What have I done with this? Oh,
What
I see.
crimes have I done now?
Yeah, it's an RGB header that I soldered directly to this. This was obviously just some RGB tape that I had, and I've just soldered it directly to a header, so that actually requires desoldering. So yeah, I'll do that in a sec. All right, I've enjoyed this conversation in English.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming.
Oh, this case has an acrylic side window. No, it does have a glass side panel. If it was acrylic, I would not be selling it because acrylic is gross. Thank you for tuning in. See you next week with something else. New video coming out during the week. Blah, 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 blah. And that's it.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
On the Twitch, etc., etc. Goodbye.
Yeah.